Cheers, guys.
Cheers, fellas.
How we doing?
Happy Friday.
Yeah, we made it. We made it.
Another week.
Oh, man.
So let's start with Tim. What are you drinking? Because it's not alcohol.
I'm having a nice Liquid Death sparkling water tonight. I'm going easy on the alcohol for about 2 weeks.
What do you mean by easy? Because last week you were drinking on this podcast.
Yeah, it was only 4 Michelobes, which was the lightest beer ever. But I
calories.
haven't had a drink since. So
Okay.
we'll do one more week. And then next Friday will be another week, so I'll probably do it on the podcast. I'll probably drink on the podcast that night.
That's what we want to hear. Ash,
Yeah.
what you got over there?
Mickey, you.
Again? 2 weeks running?
2 weeks in a row.
All right, man. Well, that's what you want to hear. We have a special guest for today. We have DK Danny Two Phones with us.
Oh my goodness, what's going on?
2 watches,
fellas?
2
Yeah.
phones, 2
Episode
pads,
2
2
featuring-
cars, whatever
I would
you
just
want.
like to follow up and say there is only 1 watch and 1 phone on the table.
Yeah.
So
We have episode 2 featuring DK. Dan, what are you drinking over there?
I got a solid whiskey and Coke right now. So that is
Classic.
what yeah, it's a classic.
It is a classic.
Gets me where I need to go. So
All right. And again, I have the same thing, rum and Coke. I have a feeling this part of the podcast is going to be pretty repetitive.
I'll switch it up next week.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Now put some pressure on me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's got to be something different.
Okay. Cool. So, what are we talking about?
Well, I believe that you had something you wanted to talk about with your shoes that you returned.
Yeah.
Tell
You
us
just
what
want to get right
happened.
into it?
Yeah.
I returned my shoes.
Sad day.
Why?
I didn't like them as much as I thought I would.
Say
That's
the other
about
reason,
it.
too.
What other reason?
You needed the money.
Yeah, I needed the money. Let's not get into this. Listen. I listened to the podcast today from last week. I caught so much crap from you people. Let's not start off early.
I wouldn't say so much crap because I listened to about an hour and a half of it, and I thought it was the right amount. It's nothing we don't
know.
usually say.
I don't know if it was the right amount.
I did listen to the full 3 hours.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And I kind of got a good vibe for what's happening. And I'm not going to lie. Jesse caught a lot more crap
Thank you.
than the others.
I did.
He brings it on himself.
When we
though.
talked about... No, I don't.
He sets it up.
It's normal conversation.
He sets
No,
it up.
I don't think so. It's normal conversation to me.
I feel like, and you know what? Low key, Ashton likes to throw the alley oop, and then Tim just comes in and finishes hard.
Yeah, that's what
And
it is.
it was a tag team.
Yeah. Ashton had the little like, oh,
But-
geez. And then Tim would pile on.
But honestly, too, I noticed one thing: no one ever trash talks Ashton
No.
ever. He's too nice of a guy. You don't want to
Yeah.
do it. Everyone loves him.
And
It's
he
true.
doesn't set us up for anything.
No. And I feel like we need to change things up a little bit.
It's because he doesn't spend money. And when he does, it's on stuff that we know he's super into. So we're not like making fun of him for it.
Yeah. I can
He's
agree
smart.
with
I guess. I did just notice Tim has the bacons on.
The
They're
shoes?
looking good.
He does,
I'm
yeah.
wearing the bacons today.
that. Yeah.
I was gonna shake it up and bring out the Brain Dead Reeboks, but it's supposed to rain around 11 o'clock, and I can't get the
Can't
fuzzy
wear
suede.
suede. Yeah. Can't put the suede in there.
But I like these. Solid
Beautiful
pair.
pair.
Did
Beautiful
the
pair.
denim Air Maxes come in?
Mm-hmm.
And?
They're beautiful.
They're sexy.
Did you not see Dan's pair?
I got mine out in the foyer over there.
No, I didn't pay any attention.
Yeah.
Oh man, missing out. It's a good pair. Beautiful pair.
And what'd you wear tonight?
The Ghost Greens.
Oh,
That's your go-to.
that's one of my favorite pairs he has.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so crisp, clean. You can't not like them.
It's my commuter shoe right now.
Are those your do you wear those pretty much daily or?
Yeah, pretty much at work now, every day. And believe it or not, I get more compliments on those than any other pair of Nikes I have. And I don't really know how to feel about that, but
I feel like
from non-sneakerheads.
I feel like a lot of people have that pair. So if you get like compliments on that pair and you're like, you know what, this isn't even my nicest pair. I feel the same way. I get a lot of compliments on my orange camo Air Maxes. Every time I wear those, somebody's like, hey man, nice shoes. And I'm just like, I don't get these compliments on my Jordan 1s.
Right.
Or, any of my Dunks. anything like that. But anytime I put those orange camo Air Maxes on my feet, someone's like from across Publix, "Hey man, nice shoes." I'm like, what in the world? Like, but so it is what it is, you know.
I would just say the flashier the shoe, the more eyes it catches.
Those, I mean, they are bright orange.
Yeah.
Like if they're
All the
not
way
glow in the
across.
dark, but people can see them in the dark. It's amazing. So they're bright.
My
They are
New
very bright.
Balances today got a lot of compliments.
Bodegas.
No,
You have another pair of Air Max? Oh, Air Maxes.
no,
Nice.
You said New Balance.
New Balance.
no.
How many do you have?
3.
Huh.
Um,
Of course you do.
Am I missing out? Did you just not tell me? Or
No, I bought these like 6 months ago. I told you. I sent you a screenshot. It's the desert pink
Yeah.
Rust
Okay.
or
Yeah.
something.
I know which ones you're talking about. Yeah.
Are those the ones that you bought to match like all the shorts and stuff when you did that big order? Was it during that?
Might have been,
Yeah.
but I don't remember. But I haven't worn them in about 4 or 5 months, so I broke them out today. And they're comfortable and they got a lot of compliments.
I was just about to ask you that. How comfortable are the New Balances when you wear them? Like, are they probably the most comfortable that you have besides maybe Yeezys? I mean, I love Yeezys. They're so comfortable.
I like them more than Yeezys. I would say that only because the boost in the Yeezy, as you wear it, it wears down and it's
It
not
does.
as bouncy. But I mean, I feel like the New Balance, there's no like foam, so it's just a straight. It keeps your foot flat too, which I don't know if you're
Okay.
comfortable with that or not. But
No, I don't think that would bother me. But does it have much cushion though? Because I know that's one of the reasons we like Yeezy. But
I would say there's padding in the heel. But other than that, it's just like a nice, breathable shoe. Like there's the knitting on the top, so your toes can breathe. It's a comfortable shoe. You've been talking about getting a pair, and you don't ever get.
I feel
a pair
like,
of
but
New
I do that with
Balances.
all sneakers. I'm like, oh, I might want this one, or I might, and then I just never.
You sent
do
me
it.
a pair on discount, and you never pulled the trigger.
I never did, and then they sold out. They're gone.
He almost bought another pair of Air Maxes yesterday at the store when we were over there.
The blueprints. The blueprints. But after getting the denim pair, I was like, all right, it's too similar. You know, it's blue, and but the other one does have a lot more white to it. So I feel like it was just a cleaner look. But I didn't want
beach shoe for the beach.
You're not wrong. Yes, they would look good at the beach, but you know, the pair I have looks good anywhere now. So
Okay.
Wow. Sure it does, Dan.
it does. It does.
I'm going to start throwing some shit towards everybody this week.
So which store did Dan almost buy shoes at?
Memory lane.
Memory lane. Yeah,
We went to 2 stores yesterday.
Did anyone buy anything?
No. Okay. So, yeah, we'll getting back to it. You're right.
Yeah.
So I did return the black and yellow mids.
At Memory Lane?
No.
Okay.
Everything's at
It's like,
Memory
did you
Lane.
take a loss?
No, I returned them. Then we went up. At first, we went to another store. What was it called again? The
Good
first
times.
one.
Good Times Atlanta.
Good Times Atlanta, which is near Criminal Records and that whole little 5, I think it's in.
Yeah. It's in Inman Park.
Not the one that we all went to by Centennial.
No, that was Hype 24/7.
That's the one I was talking about yesterday.
Yeah,
I
Hype
remembered.
24/7.
I forgot Ashton was with us there.
Yep.
Okay, there was like a whole group of us.
Yeah, but they're very little size 12s there too.
Yeah.
We might want to go back
It was
there.
small
I see
though.
him.
It was very small.
Yeah, that store's like a closet.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, he does give pretty decent pricing and stuff like that. So I might have to check it out again.
Yeah. So we went there. So I brought in the shoes. He said, "Man, we just put in a big order of these shoes." So he like didn't want to offer me anything.
Which pair?
The Pandas.
Okay.
So, and then they didn't want to give Dan any decent money for what he had either. He brought in the Chicago's.
No, it was
And-
the 700 analogs. I didn't bring the Jordan 1s in that time.
Oh, okay.
I just brought in the
Yeah.
analog 700s.
So then we went to the second store, Memory Lane, and I get there and the guy was looking at the shoe. He's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, he said, "What do you want for him?" I was like, "Give me like 180," and he said 160, and I was like, "Okay, how about 170 cash?" He said, "Let me see what we got," and walks in the back and comes back out and says, "We don't have any cash."
I saw Jesse's look from across the store. He looked
Yeah.
terribly confused. He goes, "What?"
No cash. Stupid. So I was like, okay. He goes, but he'll give you $240 store credit if I saw anything I liked. I already didn't see anything. We went through everything. They had the Bordeaux again, but they were a size 11. The other store had Bordeaux in the size 11 and a half. So I just couldn't get it. So I was like, well, okay, do you want to do I'll do PayPal, Venmo, I don't care, 170, whatever. He goes, I have Zelle, but I'll do 150 on Zelle. And I was like, why is it cheaper? It doesn't cost you anything. And he was going to buy them out of his own pocket for him. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It's dumb. So I ended up not doing it. Then while on the way back is when I said I signed up for a Goat account and then just listed them on Goat and I sold the next day. So I got rid of them.
How much did someone go for?
$230. So I got $200 after fees and everything.
Yeah.
So it ended up working out. But yeah, we both walked home with nothing yesterday. With the 2 stores, got nothing.
I did when we were at Good Times Atlanta too. I don't know if you heard this. He was talking to another guy, and or it might have been you, but he said those shoes are on consignment.
Yeah.
So trade-in value doesn't apply.
Yeah.
So I also think like a lot of these guys who might work there, but don't necessarily own the place, might have an own personal collection that they might throw up on the shelves, that are cash value only and not necessarily applicable to trade-ins and stuff like that too. So I do think when you go to some of these stores, it's kind of a wild card of who you're walking into and who's working at that time and what kind of offers you're going to get. So I feel like if I went on another day with different people there, I may get different offers than I did 2 days ago. So it's kind of odd, but I noticed that and I was like, oh, that's kind of,
Yeah, it's the same thing they did at Nerds World too. A lot of their cards are on consignment, although they don't care. They just do it out of pocket and on the back end.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with bigger stuff like that, it may make sense not to do that. So
yeah.
So yeah, I ended up, and he was like, I was like, I'm a size 12. He goes, you don't see anything you like? And then walked around the whole store with me, pointing out every size 12. And I was like, dude, I only like Jordan 1s, and you just don't have anything I like. And he went back to that section and was pulling out everything. He goes, you don't like these Knicks ones? He pulled out. Did they have Chicago's or like bread toe? They had a $600 black and red color shoe.
I think they were the band ones.
Yeah.
Band size 12.
They had Georgetowns in my size, and I was like, I'm not here to buy shoes. I was like, I want to sell my shoes. He goes, man, you got it. Come on. And I was like, dude, I don't like any of the shoes you got. Like, he was giving me crap almost.
I think some of these guys get frustrated when people walk in only looking to sell and not trade or buy. Even though they emphasize buy, trade, sell, I think unless it is a brand new pair or a very hype pair, they're not interested in buying most of the time. It's got to be it's got to be something pretty special or something that just released that a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah. So that was the whole day.
So not the best experience.
No. And the kid was he seemed like a good kid, but
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't like him. When we left, I was like, I don't like that guy.
He wasn't like disrespectful in any type of way.
Yeah.
But once he picked up on that Jesse really only wanted Jordan 1s, I felt like he started toying around with it. He was like, hey, how about this Jordan 3? And how about this, different shoes he was picking out. Yeah. And he was kind of like, no, I don't like that pair. And they were not necessarily like great pairs either. So
yeah. And I bet, most people going into those stores appreciate shoes. So they have a wide variety that they like. I don't think he liked that I only liked one specific pair of shoe, and I just wasn't into everything else he had. So yeah, it was not like I didn't like the guy. I don't want to say that, but he was just kind of like almost taken back that I didn't like anything they had, So it was fine. I needed to sell it anyway. I didn't want it. I told Dan, I was like, only if they have the Bordeaux in size 12 am I trading. Other than that, I got to just sell them, So that's what ended up happening.
I almost did trade in 2 pairs for a set of Jordan 6 Travis Scotts, though. I was this close to doing it, but they only had size 13. And I was like, you know what? It would be for resale anyway, but I didn't do it. I was like, I don't know why, but it would have been perfect. But just the all tan suede pair of Travis Scott Jordan 6s, they were beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, I like that pair. I like the green ones though. A lot
Yeah,
more.
the green pairs are beautiful.
But those have skyrocketed.
They've gone up a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they had an absurd amount of reverse mocha. Was it Jordan 1s or Dunks? Travis Scott's. The ones that just came out. I think they're Jordan 1 lows.
They're lows.
Jordan 1 lows. They had a lot of those reverse mochas.
Well,
they
actually been doing restocks on them.
Yeah. I mean, they're the cheapest pair, but I feel like they're pretty obtainable. I don't know why there's so much money. I guess just because of his name.
A lot of people think that every store is just backdooring and stocking away. So there's like more supply and demand or more demand for it, but there's a lot more supply people think than any other one. So they think it will eventually just.
I'm telling you, I saw 12 on both shops. I saw 12 to 14 pairs just lined up or
that should be like 400 or 500, not
it should not
1100.
be. Yes, I think they are stores like that are really riding on the name and just holding stuff back on that. But there's so many pairs, and then to get that many pairs too, you can just tell there's so many bots getting those things that it's obnoxious. Like I saw Memory Lane, they had a picture up on their Instagram, and it was, 50 plus pairs in just one picture. So who knows what else they had over there? I'm just like, how's one? I can't say that they're buying this many pairs, or unless they're getting them for $500-600 and then selling them for 12 and 13. But I don't know who would give up a pair for half the cost like that.
I mean,
brand new.
I think people are just getting paid to just hold the shoe for them. Like, slip me $100 or $150, and we'll just hold everything we got, and then you could just buy it all for retail.
Yeah.
Unless there's a lot of pairs, then you might pay someone $1,000 or something. I don't know, because you're gonna make like $10,000-12,000 off of a couple pairs.
Yeah, it's true. I have to give. I was in a store the other day. It was Hibbett Sports. I was on my break at work, and I went to Hibbett Sports in Griffin. I saw two guys walk in. I was just casually browsing. I had some time to kill, so I was like, you know what? Hibbett sometimes has some nice hits every now and then. Let me just see what they got. And when I went in there, two guys came in and asked, hey, do you have the new Jordan 3? You know, the purple Jordan 3s that just came out? They're pretty easy to get. They're not, resale's not much, but for whatever reason, as soon as she said that, the guys were like, well, what sizes do you have? And right away, this lady looked at him and then just started going like, nah, just for saying that, I don't think I'll sell you guys the shoes, because they're not looking for a specific size to carry out. And then you just saw the look on the guy's face was like, oh, whoa. And then she looked at him and was like, I'm not your plug. I'm not here to do that. If you guys want to buy the shoe, let me know. And so the guy stepped away for a second, then came back, and they said a size. And then he also said, I got two kids. Let me get this size and kids. So it looked like an adult pair, the big kid section, and then like an infant size. And then they walked out. She pulled the shoes out, but then they walked out and never bought them. So I was just like, man, like, the lady at Hibbett Sports locked him down pretty quick. I was like, good for her.
Wow.
Good for her. Get the resellers out of there.
Yeah.
It's nice because everything's still sitting. I think the last 8 or 9 Jordan releases are still in stock on a lot of websites.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got the 14s, the 13s, the 12s, the ones that just came out, the 3s, the 5s. Yeah. Even a couple pairs of Dunks are still sitting on the Nike app. No one's buying like they used to. So
no, especially the high top Dunks. I feel like anytime a low top goes out there, they go pretty quick for the most part. But some reason the Dunk highs just don't do the same as Dunk lows. But
no.
Yeah. Either way.
The Dunk lows seem just more of a, I don't want to say common person shoe, but you can wear it with so much more than Dunk highs. They look good with a pair of pants or shorts. If it's a good color wave, kind of wear them with anything.
I still have yet to been able to get any kind of Dunk SB though. Anytime an SB nuts. Hits there, it could be high or low. If it has that SB after Dunk, you just know it's going to fly off the shelf. It's crazy to me. I mean, even if the colorway is not that good, the SB will make it just fly off the shelf.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but It's just part of the game.
There's been a handful of stories on the sneakers. What is it called? It's a Reddit page. I think it's just called Sneakers, of people going to their local skate shops, and the skate shops have a raffle.
Oh.
And they'll enter the raffle, and the skate shop will get like 1 pair or 2 pairs, and then they win it. And it's just the fact that it's the local skate shop and them walking out with the shoes. It's a cool story.
Oh, man. That's cool.
That would be cool.
I haven't been to a skate shop since I was like, I don't know, 11, 12.
Did they close down the one over behind Kroger?
Hazard
County. Yeah.
Yes, that's been closed down for quite some time.
I think they moved it for a little bit and then shut it down. I used to go there a little bit.
There were
Went with Logan.
3 teenagers skateboarding in the square when I was coming over.
Me too.
Yeah,
You saw them?
Yeah.
that's cool. There's a little spot right, you know where the baseball park is on the left?
Yes.
There's a little park back there that a lot of skaters go to a lot of times, and there's like skate around over there. It's not an actual skate park, but it seems to be a little spot that they go to.
In like
I've
a public
noticed.
park?
Right behind that baseball park, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's almost like in the parking lot almost.
Mm.
I always see a couple kids there.
When we were in Jersey, I saw like 2 or 3 skate parks. Like
Really?
they're pretty, they're like there's a pretty decent amount up there, and they were outdoor.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't know, just around here, I don't see that, you know.
Yeah.
But just driving past up there, it was just like I saw at least 2 or 3, and people were there and skating. It was cool.
I wonder if that was a regional thing or not. Because even when I remember moving down here, I don't really remember seeing outdoor skate parks down here. Up there, I could think of at least 2 or 3 that we used to go to. Only one I ever knew of. Then again, when we moved, I wasn't into skating as much anymore, so maybe it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
But Hazard's the only one I can think of being around here.
No, I'm with you on that. And baseball fields and basketball courts too. I see a lot of baseball fields down here, but I can almost tell in almost every corner of a neighborhood up there was always a basketball park, but you don't see those either too much down here. You might stumble into 1 or 2.
There's quite a few in that Lovejoy area that I deliver to.
Yeah.
There's at least 3 I can think of. Maybe it's just kind of town to town is different.
Yeah.
Because you're right, there's none around here.
Yeah. McDonough, I feel like, doesn't have any. I feel like Stockbridge doesn't even have any. Some of the, I don't know. But you're right. Lovejoy, they do have. Anytime I see them,
couple
it's
outdoor
right around
ones.
that area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's weird.
So let's transition to Jersey. How was the trip, fellas?
Right. Yeah, we just got back from Jersey a couple days ago. Overall, it was a good trip.
To see family. That was the main objective, right?
Yeah, all dance family. Yeah.
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 It was a typical
Yeah.
Hugh Watts visit. I don't know how to explain it outside of that.
Yeah.
The people who know my family will know that. But overall, it was a good time, though. Once we got to the restaurants or finally, solidified some of the plans and stuff like that, it was a good time. My siblings, they're all so different. Like, they really are. I'd say me and Alicia are probably the most similar, but when it comes
You're
to
all
my
different,
older-
but exactly the same at the same time.
we have
certain traits. You
Yeah, our
guys
traits are
spot
very
on.
strong, but personalities are very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all 4 of us. None of us are alike whatsoever, So it's kind of it's interesting going up there, and then you got to try to split your time equally between everybody. And but this go around, I was mainly going. My older brother just had a baby. I don't want to say just had a baby. He's probably 7 or 8 months now, and then my older sister had a baby about 3 months ago, and we thought we were gonna lose him for a good 3 or 4 days, and then, he just did a complete 180, and he's golden. I loved him. He was awesome. So it was mainly about seeing the nephews on this one. So that's kind of what I focused around for sure.
Yeah.
But
Jonathan's son's name is Ashton.
What's that?
Jonathan's son's name is Ashton.
The new son?
yeah, his name is Ashton.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep. And one of my cousins named their baby Asa.
Mhm.
So for the first
Julianne.
2 months,
Julianne.
named her kid Asa. So for the first 2 months, I was having trouble remembering which one was which, because as soon as I heard their names, I was like, oh. It's just like Ashton and his brothers, you know? And so for the first couple of months, I called Ashton Asa one time, and he was like, where did you get Asa? I was like, listen, you don't know this story, but I know a lot of Ashton and Asas now. So I'm getting a little confused here. But yeah, man, no, it was a great time, though. I did get to see my nephews, played with them. I got to play. So my older brother has 3 kids. So I got to play with the 2 older. The youngest one, Ashton, he's still young to the point where he just wants mom and dad, so I didn't get to hold him a whole lot. But my nephew, my sister's new child, Nico, he was just adorable, smiling. He would let you hold him, smile, laugh. He was just like, it didn't matter. He just wanted to be held or fed. It didn't matter. He was awesome.
Oh yeah.
How do they spell Nico?
Nico.
Nico. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Japanese word for smile is Nico. I
Oh,
wonder if
really?
that has anything to do with
No,
do with the name.
I think it has more so. My brother-in-law, Angelo, is he's pretty Italian. I think that's where it came
Pretty
from.
Italian.
Okay.
I don't know how else to say though. outside
Pretty
of that.
Italian.
Yeah. So I think Nico. I think it has an Italian meaning as well.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that's where it came from, but I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. She's gonna like that.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
tell her she's gonna really like
Yeah.
that because he does smile a good bit. Yeah, he's a happy baby. But it was definitely a good time. Glad I got to see them. My younger sister Alicia took us to a Simple Plan and Sum 41 concert.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jesse was very happy at the end of that.
At the end of that, yeah, that's right.
By the
He's
time,
right.
it took a little while to get there, but by the end of the concert, he looked at me and goes, "That might be the best concert I've ever seen." Simple Plan did an outstanding job. I was very much looking forward to Sum 41 just because that was some of the music that I liked growing up and everything. And not that I didn't like Simple Plan, but Sum 41 was a little bit heavier, so I was like, oh, I can jump up and get into that one. And so I was looking forward to that. But I'll say Sum 41, they went hard. It was good. I really liked them, but both bands out of this world. Great live performances. I loved them.
Ellie's playing drums over there. I'm sorry.
I started going nuts.
Yeah, Sum 41 was good. Simple Plan knocked it out of the park.
Out of the park.
They opened their concert with the Star Wars theme song. They didn't play it. They played a track of it, and then when it hit right at the very end of the song, they hit the chord. All the lights came on. It was sick. It was a cool way to open up a show.
And they went right into a song too, which
Yeah.
I appreciate. Like the
I think
song.
it was not "I'm Just a Kid." Da 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 da. Whatever that one is.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, whatever it is. It
Now it's
doesn't.
gonna
I
bother
don't
me
know.
that I can't remember the song.
Yeah, I know. Another day going by.
So you listened last week to the episode that we did.
I did.
And
Yep.
Jesse came out of nowhere.
I'd do anything. Sorry.
I'd do anything. That was it. Thank you, Jesse.
Jesse came out of nowhere and said, "Simple Plan top 3 band for me." I'm
I,
like,
the way you shut that down so quickly, I was dying. You said Simple Plan. You're like, no, it's not. Like, there was no hesitation. You just
went,
straight up
"Okay."
told him, yeah, okay. And immediately started critiquing one of his favorite bands.
And then after I was like, okay, fine, top 4. He goes, no, it's not. And then I was like, all right, fine, top 5. He goes, maybe top 10.
That was so funny. It's just like, it's an opinion. So it's
Yeah.
not really like a yes or no. And you made it like, no, it's not. Get it out of there.
And the funny thing
I was
is,
dying.
towards the end of that, Tim was like, "You're gonna sober up and listen to this in a week, and you're gonna say you're wrong." And he was right. Listening to it on the way home, I was like, Ashton was right the entire time.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
funny.
It
man.
was
Yeah,
such
you're
a
right.
flippant
I still-
comment. I'm like, no.
I
no,
still
no, no.
stick to top 5, but you're right. It wasn't top 3. And you still didn't even agree with that.
No, you're high off
All right,
of the
fine.
concert.
Next week, top 10 bands.
Oh my god.
Oh, my
After this week's
goodness.
top 5
I couldn't
albums.
do it. Uh-oh.
Okay. Jerks. This leads in perfectly to our top 5 albums.
Mm.
I think we should just go ahead and get into it.
Okay,
I don't want to go first, though, because I don't want the judgment.
I'll go first.
All right.
All right. So I told Jesse this yesterday, but when I was selecting my top 5 albums, I tried to separate nostalgia from albums that I currently like to listen to and appreciate for the music and not for memories tied to the music. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in no particular order.
I don't like that.
I don't know if
I
I
don't
can.
like. I don't like that. We said.
I don't know
top
if I can go like number one most
five. I don't like that.
because you go in and out of moods. Okay, so first album, Move Along, All American Rejects,
Whoa. Okay.
Deep cut,
You'll love to see it.
Folie à Deux, Fall Out Boy,
of course.
John Mayer's Continuum.
Okay.
I mean, come on, Gravity, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, Waiting on the World to Change.
Okay. Stop
you don't
looking
have
at me
to
with
convince
that.
us. These are
I
your
know.
top 5.
I know. It sounded like you were trying to convince me.
Number 4, Weezer's Blue Album. And then this one was tough. But if I have to pick a Jonas Brothers album, it's Happiness Begins.
Okay.
I like that album.
I do. All of your choices were solid. I'm a big fan.
Didn't know about the All American Rejects though.
Yeah, that one threw me for a loop. But
It has something. Does that have something to do with the fact that we've been playing it recently? Did it put it back? Put
that
it back
the-
on your radar? Maybe. Is that what it
So
was?
the very first song I bought for my first cell phone, which would have been 2007,
we're talking ringtones.
ringtone store. I'm pretty sure I paid like $3 for it, and it was the chorus of Move Along.
Wow. Okay.
But I've always, from the guitar side, the tone of guitars in those songs are just awesome. So
Yeah, that's true.
Is Swing Swing on that album?
no,
That's a different album.
Yep.
Okay.
that's
I thought it was.
what is that one? It's the green one.
I think
When the World Comes Down.
No, it's the one with the go kart on it. Swing swing.
Oh, the very first album then. Okay, I think it
Is
might
it
be
called Swing
self-titled.
Swing? Swing
Yeah.
swing or self-titled? It might be
I
self-titled.
think it's a self-titled album.
Yeah.
I'll double check on that, but that's a good song too, Dan.
I do. Yeah, I remember hearing that song for the first time.
A little bit of noise.
Unfortunately,
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Gives You Hell is not on that one. That one's a really good song.
Yeah,
And then Mona Lisa is also on. I think it's Waiting on. It's not. I'm getting it mixed up with John Mayer now. It's not Waiting on the World to Change. It's
When the World Comes Down.
When the World Comes Down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Swing Swing is on the self-titled album.
Okay.
Gotcha.
2002.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good album.
So those are my top 5.
Any rebuttals?
Solid choice.
Any arguments?
I'm with Jesse on this one. I didn't see All American Rejects coming, and I liked it.
Okay.
Made me happy.
Good choice.
You want to go next time?
I mean, I will, but I don't really have top 5 albums. I
I
couldn't
forgot
pick.
you were even here.
I couldn't pick.
What do you mean?
I couldn't pick top 5
So you didn't do
albums.
your homework?
No,
It's tough.
I did, but I picked albums that I can always listen to every song on the album and not get tired of it.
Okay, so Khalid's Free Spirit.
That is one of them.
Absolutely.
Free
You
Spirit.
can't not pick it.
And then I have Collide with the Sky by Pierce the Veil. I have Asking Alexandria's self-titled album in 2017. I have Death of a Bachelor album.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Dang.
And I actually have 6 on here. I have Beer Bongs and Bentleys.
Oh
Great album.
yeah.
Who's that?
Post Malone.
That's Post Malone. Great album. I love that album.
every song on that album.
Banger.
And then I have Challenger, Memphis Mayfire.
That is a great album as well.
Yeah.
Great album.
I like all those albums, but I don't think I would have a like. I mean, those are up there, but I can't pick a top 5.
It's
a
tough.
solid
Would you name
list.
6?
Yeah, I
I mean, I
6 in
have
there.
technically have 8, but I narrowed down to my 5. But I have 3 like right outside of it. But I have a 5. I have a 5.
I would say if I had to kick one of them out, it would probably be Death of a Bachelor. I would kick
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
It's unfortunate.
I'm interested a little bit to hear Jesse's.
I don't want to go. I'm going to catch so
I
much
can go.
crap.
I can
Yeah,
go.
you go ahead. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I need to double check this because that seems to be the track record.
From 1 week.
It happened one time.
1 week.
Yeah, 1 3-hour podcast, Dan.
I am curious about Dan's though.
Yeah, it's your
Well,
turn.
I mean, even listening to Ashton's and Tim's makes me want to change it up because it's very hard to narrow down top 5 albums. But I did list 5 that I feel like I could listen to, and every song I listen to, I will like. I was explaining it before to Billy, but like, I don't know if any of these songs would necessarily be in like my top 5 or top 10 songs, but I know I like every single song on this album.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was one of my deciding factors too.
was just listening,
Start to finish.
Yep, and Tim actually has 2 of mine on there. The
Yeah.
Asking Alexandria.
Yeah, I do.
Self-titled album.
And then what else?
And Free Spirit.
I was gonna tell you, Dan, if you didn't have it on there, I would have chunked this mic at you.
I got him. Yeah.
Just would have chunked it.
Tim would have top rated.
Well, why wouldn't you say the same about Ashton? But all 3 of you were equally as into
He
that
loves
album.
Khalid like we do, but it's not like
He comes from a different place, I think. He comes from
he's also a musician.
I think he's more cultured.
Exactly.
He appreciates.
Let's leave the
guitar.
culture thing out of it, Jess.
I think he's more
Okay.
cultured. That's what it is.
So
If there was 6, though, I bet you it would have been his number 6.
Khalid would have popped in there, make
Yeah.
a celebrity appearance. But when I heard Ashton's, all of them made sense from like a musical standpoint. But so I couldn't get mad at it. But I know Ashton likes Khalid. That
Yeah.
Free Spirit album
Yeah.
is wonderful.
I'm glad you guys are backing him up.
Yeah.
Remember that when I'm listing mine.
You must not like your own choices.
I love my choices. That's
I
the
don't-
problem.
All right.
You guys think you know me better than me.
Okay.
And most of the time you're right. Go ahead, Dad.
Keep going, Dan.
So after the Asking Alexandria and Free Spirit album, I got Beautiful Death by Slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I wore that one out when it first came out. Actually, me and your brother Jacob did that. We just played that nonstop. And then just to change it up a little bit, just to throw a little bit of something else in there other than rock, I threw in Graduation by Kanye West. I loved that album.
I'm good with that because Kanye was gonna get in there. I was trying to nudge him in there.
And Graduation was right. That might have had. I know you said you were leaving it out there, but it has a little bit of nostalgia to it too. That was right in high school for me, 07. And so some of those songs really stand out. And then when I got a little bit more into it, I was like, man, every song on there, just like, I like every one. And then one that I don't think anyone will see coming, but I was really excited to put it in there, was Collision Course, the Jay-Z and Linkin Park collab that they made back in early 2000s. I feel like every song on there, they took some of the best of Linkin Park, some of the best of Jay-Z, and then and I'm like, you know what? Every single song that comes on, like I love every single one. Great, man. I don't know if that's necessarily an album. It's definitely an EP, but
It counts.
I throw it in there.
It counts.
And now we're getting to the grand finale.
Yeah. Now I'm really eager to hear Jesse's.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. So when we were talking about this before we started recording, Billy and Dan were trying to guess what my albums were, and they thought they had me beat. They guessed 4 albums. They didn't get any of them right,
Yeah, that's true.
which made me happy, but also makes me think you're going to think I'm lying.
Okay, can I
100%.
try to guess one of them?
Yeah.
Is it Hello Sunshine? Is that the name of that album?
Wake Up Sunshine?
Wake Up Sunshine? It's not one of them?
No.
Wow.
That was one of my top 10.
Okay.
I'm thinking one of them might be. Is one of them Mayday Parade? Is it the Green Album, the self-titled?
That is number 4.
Oh man, listen. That was one I was gonna say right when you told me to stop guessing.
Yeah, I know.
That
I'm
was
honestly
it.
surprised that wasn't in Tim's tops. We were into it for a long time.
He said last week he doesn't like Mayday Parade. No?
Yeah, he said Mayday Parade sucks. I heard that under your breath and none of us mentioned it again, and I was like, wow. He said that.
Did I say it?
You said Mayday Parade sucks. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I can't. Not a top 5 album for me.
All right.
Go
Well,
All right, so we know we got
Let's
number
hear
4.
You were close with one of them.
Let's hear your top 8.
No.
Yeah.
I'll just go and give you my 3 that weren't in the top 5.
Okay.
No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls by
All right,
Simple Plan.
Mm-hmm.
The Outsiders by Need to Breathe.
Okay.
Okay.
That's kind of a deep cut for me. And then Close the Distance by Go Radio.
Okay.
Those were like just out of there.
I'm not surprised on those.
Yeah. Number 5 is, you could probably guess what my number 5 is. Tim?
Is it in mine?
No.
Oh.
You're not going to guess it.
No.
Symphony Soldier by The Cab.
I would
Oh,
not
the
have
Cab.
guessed that.
No.
Yes.
I love that album.
It's a
though.
really,
Great
really good album. A lot of it has to do, one, it's a great album that I can listen to start to finish, but a lot of it has to do with that DC trip that we went on. Remember in senior year? I listened to that album 50 times on that trip. Like it like solidified it as one of my top 5 albums. Number 4 is Mayday Parade Self-Titled. Another one I can listen to pretty much start to finish, besides the last one. Number 3, Astoria by Marianas Trench.
Marianas Trench. Okay.
Yeah, that's their second newest album. That's I think I talked about it last week, but that's one of those albums that they pretty much tell a story from the beginning to end. And then the last song in this album specifically, there's a bridge part where for like a minute straight, all he does is name song titles, like in a sentence, like almost turns it into like he's telling a story with the song titles of all the previous albums that they've ever done.
I remember that.
It was super cool how they did it.
What's the name of that song? Do you remember?
End of an Era.
Okay. I remember
What an
that.
awesome name for end of a song, dude.
If I'm not mistaken, he would say the name of the song and then kind of explain like the song and then lead into another one and another one.
In this one, the one I'm
Yeah.
talking about, he just does, he says, if I remember it, I'm not even going to try to remember it.
Okay.
But he does song title after song title after song title, and it sounds like he just wrote out a lyric.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing to me.
Yeah. The guy, I will
blew
say,
me away.
I love them.
Yeah.
They really,
I
don't know. He's really talented.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna look it up real quick just so I can do it.
So that is one of the parts of Folie à Deux that
Yeah.
I love is in
What a Catch, Donnie?
Donnie.
It's amazing how they do that.
And what makes it even more powerful is that was the last album that Fall Out Boy did before they broke up. And
Mhm.
Patrick
Mhm.
was pulling out lyrics from their very first album
Yeah.
or second album.
Yeah.
So it was,
Almost made it sentimental.
it did, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you listen to it in hindsight. But do you know what that is, the technical term for an album that is like that, where it's telling a
No.
kind of story from beginning to end? It's called a concept album.
Really.
And the reason I found out about that is because both American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown are conceptual albums.
Yeah.
And The Who in the 70s actually started that. Pink Floyd did it with, I know that The Wall is, maybe Dark Side of the Moon is, but, and those albums also tend to have those really nice transitions that you're such a fan of, where
Yeah.
it just kind of flows seamlessly from song to song. But that is a concept album. Zach would be very, very happy about the Marianas Trench pick. Zach loves them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let you keep looking there, and I'm going to fill up airspace while you're doing so, but I don't see where the controversy in this list is.
Yeah.
So far, it's
I know
been
you're
very
coming-
solid.
You're coming as guns hot. Like
Well,
we're really gonna
I'm glad to
criticize.
hear that, because it seems like you guys know me better than I know myself.
I remember when we first found Marianas Trench. I want to say it was right after 2010, 2011 time, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Masterpiece Theater was the album that when it first came out, and I was just like, when I first heard it, I was like, oh my goodness! Like he has some solid vocals.
Oh, yeah.
Like I loved it, man. When I first heard that, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Those bands in that era, I haven't listened to in forever. The Cab, Marianas Trench, The Main, Cartel. It's bringing back all of these memories now of bands that I haven't listened to since then. But
Forever Sickest Kids.
Forever the Sickest Kids, yeah.
Was that Underdog Alma Mater?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Great album.
Yep.
Great album.
Yeah. So I cannot find those lyrics. I almost have a feeling I didn't think I got the song wrong, but I might have. Anyway, that album still is my number 3.
Okay. I'm anxious to hear these top 2 now.
Number 2 is Pray for the Wicked by Panic at the Disco,
Yeah.
which came out right after Death of a Bachelor.
I guessed Death of a Bachelor earlier.
Yeah, you were close. Yeah, they're both almost neck and neck with me.
Yeah.
But this is another thing.
What pushed Pray for the Wicked over Death of the Bachelor?
There's a song called The Overpass on it that I really like. There's some horns in the beginning of the song that are just...
He's a big fan of horns.
I am. I really am. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. But the biggest kicker was me and Savannah drove to New Jersey while we were dating. We may have been engaged, but while we were dating. And that album came out the week we left. So we listened to it the whole way up there and the whole way back.
Yeah.
I bought the album while I was up there, like the record, vinyl.
Yeah.
So that is kind of another like sentimental thing tied up in the album. So that was another big reason for it. Man,
Very nice.
why the hell are you smiling? What'd you say to him?
Number 1.
I didn't say nothing.
Okay, I'll move on.
I thought you heard it, but I don't know.
My number 1 is
Sorry.
All Time Low.
Uh-huh.
You want to
Wait,
try to guess it?
is it the first one?
Nope.
It's not.
Wow. Wait, it's the remastered one.
Is it Dear Maria?
No.
No, that's a song.
That's so wrong. It's right.
So Wrong It's Right remastered?
No.
No.
That's
There's a
from that
remastered album by them. I don't know the name of it, but I feel
Re-recorded.
like that's it. Re-recorded. Yes.
It's
'cause
still Nothing Personal.
That's it.
It's still not. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can agree with.
So-
I love that album. Too.
What year did that come out?
So Nothing Personal was the album that came out
Mm-hmm.
in
Okay.
2007 maybe,
It was the one
2008.
after Put Up or Shut Up.
after So Wrong It's Right.
Okay, so it was number 3.
Number 3.
Okay.
That album, yeah, that was the first CD I have a memory of buying, going to the mall, like Mall of Georgia, and buying it.
Mm.
And then after 10 years after an album comes out, after 10 years, the band gets their rights back to do what they want with the album. Basically, they can re-record it.
Get out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I only knew that because of this situation. They did like a video documentary of how they re-recorded the song, and they said it in the beginning of it. They have like re-recording rights to it.
So, okay.
That's why 10th anniversary is a big deal in bands. They say that's a 10-year anniversary of the album. It's kind of like a milestone, I think, to them.
So is that they get to re-record it the way they wanted to versus what the label wanted?
I don't really know.
Really it?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't know. What were you going to say?
So, there's a couple of things that I want to say. So I didn't know that It's Still Nothing Personal. That's the name of it?
So when they redid it, it's called It's Still Nothing Personal.
Okay, so they just
That's what I like about
re-recorded that album.
They re-recorded it like they play the songs live. That's what I like about it.
Okay, so is it comparable to 5 Seconds of Summer doing Teeth live versus
Yes.
an album?
Bingo.
And the live versions are
Way
several
better.
magnitudes
Way better. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I wasn't aware that this existed. That's very interesting. So, my favorite band, in 2004, their second album called Solfa
Mm-hmm.
was released, and then in 2016 they re-recorded it, and not live versions like what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but they kind of changed up guitar tones and layered in some more vocals, and it definitely sounds closer to what their songs sound live when they play those now.
Yeah.
But you just blew my mind with the 10-year thing. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and again, I didn't even know that was like a thing. That's why I've always noticed like Mayday Parade after the 10th year anniversary of the Orange cover album, A Lesson in Romantics. They did a tour, a 10-year anniversary tour of that album. It must be something, I don't know.
From the band's perspective, that's actually interesting. Dan just saying that the band could redo the album in the way that they want to versus what the producers originally did. But
Yeah.
that's a two-edged sword, because if you re-record it and it sucks,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's like, oh man, we just messed up. And then also, if the album was a breakthrough album for you, why would you go back and mess with it again?
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what Mayday Parade did. When they hit their 10-year thing, they re-released a 10th year anniversary edition of the album, but instead of doing the live versions, they put the demo tracks on it. So what it sounded like before they had the mix, the guys come in and kind of like tell them what sounded good and bad, basically.
Right.
So the demo versions sound horrible. And then their real album sounds like amazing.
So that was a product for the fans, the hardcore fans.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, even if I went back to Nothing Personal, that would still be probably my number one album ever. But the fact that they did It's Still Nothing Personal, I've always loved live versions better, especially when a band does a live version of a song and then records it in the studio.
Mm.
It sounds fantastic.
What is the song on that album for you?
Oh, man. Either Break Your Little Heart or Damned If I Do You, Damned If I Don't.
Yeah. Okay.
That one's really good.
Yeah, both of those are solid. I would say,
it's hard.
me
Weightless.
personally, I'd say Break Your Little Heart.
Yeah.
I love that song. It's
The
cool.
intro guitar to it it's astonishing. Stella. Wait, no. Is Stella on that one? You're not even listening. Tim's not even
Welcome
listening.
back, Tim.
I wouldn't even know.
No, I don't think
wouldn't
Stella's.
know.
I think Stella's on there. Stella is one of my favorite albums ever, too. My favorite songs ever.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that album's just freaking killer. I love it.
So
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
you
you're
there,
good.
But I don't think anything you said was controversial
Well,
at all. I
it's
think
because
those were
I never-
solid top picks, especially for
thing.
you. I see every single album. I'm like, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But I never talk about those albums all the time.
You absolutely
So-
talk about All Time Low all the time.
Okay, the band, not that one. Me and you talked about that
Okay,
album because
all
we
right,
had an
maybe that's more
in-depth
personal.
discussion about
Yeah.
their best one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you had it sounding like you were going to break out just a left field, Janet
man-
Jackson or it's like
This man's
no,
about to throw
no.
Jay-Z at the top.
Again, because out of last week when I said Simple Plan's one of my top bands, I don't talk about them.
right.
Well, that's different because none of those bands that I listed in my albums are even my top 3 or 4 artists. They're just
Yeah.
albums I like.
Yeah.
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 I agree with that. Like I said, all those albums that I listed for myself, most of the songs probably wouldn't even break my top 10 or 15 favorite songs. But I can listen to every single song and be
Yeah.
like, yes, I like that album.
Yeah.
For this reason or that, whatever. Every song that pops up, I'm like, that's great. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised on anyone's album choices, but I'm thrilled to hear everyone's choices at the same time, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
What's crazy is in like a year, we're going to have probably a whole different list.
All different ones. And you know what? I didn't give a fair shot at some of the older stuff I used to listen to as well. I
Mhm.
would say this is probably the stuff I've listened to over the last 5 to 6 years.
Mhm. And to be fair, I've only told you yesterday this is what we were doing.
Yeah,
You know, you didn't have a lot of
enough
time.
to.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It was. I'm still happy with my choices, but there's a lot of other albums out there that I would probably, if I gave it some thought over 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be like, you know what, maybe take this one and put this one in there. It's tough. There's a lot of good music out there.
I don't think mine would change a year from now.
No?
The newest album on my list was the Jonas Brothers' Happiness Begins, and that was 2019.
Great album.
Move Along was 2004.
wouldn't- yeah.
Folie à Deux was 2007. Continuum was 2007 or 8. Blue Album by Weezer was 94.
Which, yeah, I guess to be fair, I don't have any of the albums that I have are not the newest album by that artist. Yeah, I guess so.
I was
Oh.
gonna say it was he's gonna hate it.
Yeah, of
I
course
was gonna
I
say
will.
when he said "to be fair," I was like Letterkenny.
Wait, what was that?
It's some stupid show that no one else watches
Hold
but
on,
them.
It
hold on.
literally, it just popped in my head. He was like, "To be fair," and I was just picturing them all just going "to be fair." I was like, I don't know if I should say this. Jesse's gonna get pissed off, but Dan will appreciate it.
Because Dan's here, I'm going to let it slide.
I love
But it is the stupidest show I've
It's
ever
not
seen.
stupid
It's a good
whatsoever.
show.
It's a funny show.
It's funny. I've seen all of the seasons.
It's a very quick-witted humor Canadian show, actually. So I don't know. It's on Hulu. I'm sure it's on other channels, but here in the U.S., it's mainly on Hulu.
Just don't look so pissed off.
But it's very. It goes back and forth so quick, and some of the lingo and terminology from up there to down here, like it doesn't cross. I had to look up things like
A?
for yeah, yeah, A. What does that mean? But they use the term in almost every episode, pitter patter. I'm like, what does pitter patter mean? Yeah, it means hurry up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like,
I didn't know that.
Come on, pitter patter. Like, get on with it. Come on.
Oh.
So, like, I had to look up some stuff but you can, from watching the show, you can tell in context what it is. But yeah, Jesse hates it because I used to watch like episode after episode, like right after it. And he's like, "Dan, will you turn that TV off? I hate that show."
It's a funny show.
It is funny, but it wasn't Jesse's style funny.
No.
It was great. He hates it. He hates it every time we bring it up. He does.
So stupid.
That's why I didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah.
What's really obnoxious about that is I was listening to that other podcast that I always talk about with Q and everybody else, the comic podcast.
Yeah.
And this was like 6 or 7 years ago. I'm doing their backlog.
They said something.
And he goes, Q was like, "Man, I need to tell you about this show. It's like super funny. I don't know if you would like it, but I think it's right up your alley." And he describes it for a minute, and he goes, "It's called Letterkenny," and I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Sometimes I do. I have to pause it and rewind it to try to catch what they're saying because it's literally like the way they go back and forth is literally like bam, 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 bam. Like it's so hard to keep up with sometimes. I'm like, let me rewind the last like 2 or 3 minutes and try to like re-listen. But they're it's so quick-witted. I love it. I think it's just so funny. But
It's so
Jesse
funny.
hates it.
It's so funny.
Jesse hates it. We'll move past that though. We don't need to
Let's transition.
dwell on Letterkenny.
Let's transition. We need to get back to Ashton's potential purchase of an NFL jersey.
Yes. So the season starts. We've still got one more week.
September.
College starts though tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, my man.
I'm ready.
I just had to turn Ashton's mic down. He just got into it. That's what we've been looking for.
West Virginia and Pittsburgh last night. Did anyone watch it?
I watched. I mean, I didn't watch it. I kept up with the score for like a little bit, but I went to bed pretty
I'm
early.
going to back out.
Yeah.
So former Georgia quarterback JT Daniels is now quarterback of West Virginia University.
Did he light it up? Tell me he lit it up.
He did pretty good. Unfortunately, West Virginia lost by a touchdown. And my mom's side of the family is from West Virginia, so
I did not
kind
know
of
that.
always secretly root for West Virginia. Pittsburgh beat them by a touchdown, but it was a good game. They just kept trading the lead back and forth. Some really explosive running. Pittsburgh has got a freshman running back that is just – the guy's going to be a rock star. But – no, football started last night, my man. College football.
Yeah.
I know that there were some games last weekend, but
Yeah. I'm ready for these big games tomorrow.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
Georgia and Oregon.
Great. It's going to be a good game. I'm ready for that one.
Ohio State has Notre Dame in Ohio State.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I don't think Alabama's playing a big team tomorrow.
No. Some teams start off kind of light. Just kind of get into it.
Yeah.
But no, both of those, I think that's a 3 o'clock and a 7 o'clock game. So those are the ones that you mentioned are the big games for tomorrow. And I am all in on those bad boys. I'm really excited about that.
You're looking up the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 games on at 3:30, the Georgia Oregon, but Cincinnati and Arkansas are also top 25. They play at 3:30.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Yeah.
How far did Cincinnati drop from last year, though? They're probably in the back half
23.
of the 20. Yeah, they're in the back half.
They went to the
It's
Final
crazy.
Four. Oh, they did update the college football playoffs.
I saw in 2026, they're changing it up to a 12.
Yeah.
In 4 years?
Yeah, it's in 4 years. I don't know why they push it back. I'm sure there's
Jeez.
reasons, but they're going to do a 12-man or a 12-team playoff, and which I'm thrilled about because I feel
Anybody
like
can make it now.
Yeah, and that means instead of top 4, it just means like the 12th seed can somehow beat the 1 seed or whatever it may be. I feel like there's just a whole lot more opportunity for upsets and nationally televised
And it
good
means
just
more.
good games.
It
Yeah.
means more now.
Yeah, yeah. Fighting for the top 12. When you're fighting for the top 4, it's usually pretty clear cut. Even if Alabama lost a game and they were 13 and 14 and 0 when they lose a game, they're going to drop from 1 to 4. or 1-3. You know, but now knowing that top 12, like the whole year is going to be a fight, because that, you know, 6 to 12th spot can be changed. If a 6 team loses to an unranked team, they're out of the top 12 at that point, usually most of the time, you know? So I'm excited for that. I think it's going to create a lot more good competition, and especially throughout the year. I think throughout the year it's going to change. Because like I said, one of those top 4 teams, if they lose a game, they can usually fight their way back into the top 4 again. But
I don't know how they're doing it, the bracket-wise. I don't know if they're doing like...
That's what I was just about to ask.
Because it was, 1 against 4 and 2 against 3 is how they always did it. So
maybe 1 against 12.
I'm
assuming,
just curious.
Yeah, I'm assuming it would be the similar playoff bracket. The highest seed goes against the lowest seed, and then 2 to 11, 3 to 10. You know, I would assume it goes that way.
That's exciting, because even if you're a 10 seed, you're still good.
I'm just wondering if it would change based on divisions. Because, I mean, let's be real. If you're number 4 in the SEC, you're probably better than, you know, number 1 in the Sun Belt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Or the Big Ten.
Or the Big Ten, you know.
Or the
Well, Big
ACC.
Ten's solid, you know, but I'm just saying, you know, especially in the SEC, it gets competitive.
Always rules all.
It
the
competitive.
SEC
Yeah.
is always
ACC
ruling
has been sneaking up there, though, here and there, though. They got some solid teams that get in there sometimes.
all. Clemson.
But
So how would they do if it's 12 teams? So after first round, you've got 6, and then after the second round, you have 3 teams. So how do they determine who 4
I
is?
would assume bye weeks, or maybe first place gets placed out or something.
Okay.
But it goes, I don't think it always gets, so 12 teams, 6 winners. Yeah, I would think maybe
Because it
after a
works
certain
in
round. I don't
college
know.
basketball because there's 16.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
I meant to read up on it before we started.
Yeah, I don't have, yeah. I should do the same thing. I should have
was
read a little bit
news.
more. But it was just announced maybe what?
Yeah.
I mean, 10, maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon today. You know? But I'm excited about football season in general. I'm excited about the NFL. I'm excited about college. But I want to get back. Hold on. I want to get back to this jersey thing.
Let's wait till Jesse comes back. I think
okay.
he wanted to get in on it.
That is totally fine. I know when I heard, listening to the podcast, when I heard what jerseys you were considering, I immediately, my first thought, straight to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, and not just because I feel like it's a solid jersey to get. I know he's a big name. A lot of people probably have him, but I feel like on a personal level too, I feel like you might like him a little bit more than some of the other jerseys. Well, Russell Wilson, great guy too. I'm not saying anyone else is worse, but I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, I hope he retires with, Green Bay. And I feel like that's a jersey that's just never going to disappear. A lot of people like him. Him appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast doesn't hurt and stuff like that too. So that's why I was kind of going with Aaron Rodgers. And, he's going to be one of the GOATs ever for that position, you know? So I was leaning right from the start that direction.
Okay.
But
All right. So Dan has also put his hat in with Rodgers.
So,
maybe before we jump into that, speaking of Wilson, the man signed a beefy 5-year extension this week. 295 or 245
it
million.
was very high. Whatever it was over 200
He's
million.
making over 40 million a season
wow.
with Denver. So, Jess, you started this. Where were you wanting to go with it?
I was just telling you what my pick was going to be, which I texted you earlier today about it. I think you should go with Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
What's your reason on that?
Well, thinking when I was listening to it again, he said, Ashton made a good point. He said he'd always liked him as a person. And that made me remember, like, he is just a genuinely good dude, Not that Aaron Rodgers isn't. I don't know that Patrick Mahomes isn't. But even when he won that Super Bowl, what was it? His rookie year, he won a Super Bowl, right? Russell Wilson?
I think he was in the league for a couple of years. First.
I'm sure. I could have
You
sworn
can
it was his
double check
rookie.
it. I mean,
may
they
be.
won
I'll
in
double check.
2012. I don't know if that was his rookie season, though.
Yeah. But even back then, he was on like a talk show, and then he kind of was getting a lot of press, and he just seemed like a genuinely good person. He's a Christian, I believe. He's been outspoken about that.
Yep.
I don't know. I think that was a good point that I didn't take into account when Ashton said that.
Yeah.
So that right off the bat was like, I think I like Russell Wilson over those other two guys.
I think all three of them are good guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
and they are. Yeah, and that's true. But I don't know. I did, especially right after he won the Super Bowl and kind of getting a lot of attention. I remember as a younger kid being like, man, like Russell Wilson's like a cool dude to like aspire to be.
Not to mention, he broke some barriers too, because he's one thing about quarterbacks is everyone likes to draft based on height too. Like a lot of people like tall quarterbacks, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", someone that's going to be able to look over on top of the line and make some of those quick and passes and be able to see the field. Russell Wilson's about 5'9", 5'10", one of the shortest quarterbacks to reach that level of talent and play, that a lot of people don't get to see that, so he not only competes at that level, but he does so with some disadvantages too. So I commend him on that, but I'm still going to say Aaron Rodgers all day, every day. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love it. Comes from some of the throws that he makes.
Yeah.
His arm is amazing. He can throw. The amount of Hail Marys that guy's completed to win games, which I know is not like a crazy amount, but it's more than most.
Right.
Like that man can throw a 60 or 70-yard bomb and get that game-winning touchdown towards the end. Not that Russell Wilson can't, but I'm going to say he's going to throw 10 to 15 yards shy of what like Rodgers just has, whatever, in his arm. It's crazy to me. And Patrick Mahomes is the same. He's got a strong arm. He's very athletic and doing his thing. But even though he's been doing so well since he's came into the league as well too, I think Aaron Rodgers has kind of proved himself having MVP seasons, not winning Super Bowls. Like even when they're bad, they're still somehow good with Aaron Rodgers. And with the Chiefs, I don't know, like if they have a bad team, I don't know yet. I'm sure he can. I'm not trying to downplay Patrick Mahomes at all in this, but if they have a bad team, I haven't seen Kansas City with a bad team yet. Can Patrick Mahomes do the same thing when Aaron Rodgers is like,
that's a fair
making
point.
this,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I think there's just but that's fine. I mean, I think all three guys are a hit. I think all of them are pretty stand-up guys as well too. I just like Aaron Rodgers for my own personal reasons, so that's why I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers on that.
Okay, so Tim's Rodgers and Jesse is Wilson.
Now, what are you leaning towards? You got to have one in your head that you're still leaning towards,
Also, I want to throw this in there. Wilson just changed teams,
I know.
so you don't know what he's going to do on Denver yet.
Right.
Too. We'll see. Hopefully he does well. I'm rooting for the guy, but what Rodgers has done for Green Bay, and I don't think that's changing. I don't think he's leaving. I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to retire Green Bay. He might throw a right hook at me, and I know I don't see it coming. He changes teams, but I think he's going to be with Green Bay.
Okay, well, y'all have at least narrowed it down for me. So we're in between Wilson and...
So when is this purchase happening?
It will happen before the first football Sunday with the fellas. That's when it's going to happen.
That's in 2 weeks.
Oh man!
So
September 11th.
I'll make a decision.
Yeah.
I'll make a decision probably this weekend.
Okay.
So who are you leaning towards, though?
Oh,
You got to have someone that...
Well, I would like
know.
to keep it a bit of a surprise.
he wants to keep
Well,
it
doesn't
close
mean you're
to
going to make the
chest,
purchase.
okay?
I'm just going to roll up with
Fine.
with a jersey on.
With an
Fine.
Aaron Rodgers jersey.
Hey-o! I
know who's going to pick. I know.
It's Rodgers.
No. It's Wilson.
Oh.
I know it's
Oh,
going to be
man.
Wilson.
I did hear a little bit of some baseball jerseys that might be purchased as well too.
Oh, it's coming up.
Not hopping on changing
Hey, you know,
subjects
you
here,
said
but
you would buy one,
He's
too.
smacking him out of the
No,
park.
I'm going to buy one as well.
So all
I'm
three of
in
us are
on this
buying
as well.
Judge jerseys?
Yeah. What is he still at only 50?
He's at 51.
Only
at
50.
Yeah.
He's at 51. And you said 62?
How many more games?
He needs 61.
He needs 60.
So he's got how many more games does he have to hit those 10? Does 61 tie or break the record?
Tie.
It's a
62 and needs to top.
it's a weird thing they label
It's the
it.
not cheating record is what it is.
It's 60.
Oh yeah.
It's 60. The guy had 60 home runs as like a Yankee, but had 61 total, or something like that.
Well, then there's also Barry Bonds.
Yeah, but he had 72.
Yeah.
Or 71.
Yeah, but he
or whatever.
cheated, so they don't count that as a record.
Well,
Sam, we're not either. So all three of us are getting Judge jerseys then, if
he breaks the
because
record.
Tim did say it also,
Yes, he did.
but I know he's not gonna. How about? Nah, I don't want to do that.
Can I throw just a bet in there too? You guys.
30 more games.
Oh,
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He just has to hit a home run every 3 games.
and he's averaging
He
one
hit-
every 2 games.
He hit
right
2
now.
in one
Is he?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 180
It
games they
depends
play,
though,
right?
'cause, I
If-
mean, he was hitting those home runs during a win streak.
Well, he
Now
hit
that
one,
they're on a losing streak right now, it can change up. I mean, the chemistry of the team can definitely affect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's a toss up. I mean, if he's hitting and the win streak, if he's hitting 1 every 2 games, in a losing streak, hitting 1 every 3 games doesn't seem out of reach for him. But it makes it a little bit more difficult during a losing streak. You know how it could be.
Well, he was at 48 last Friday, so that means he hit 3 home runs this week.
well, he hit 2 in one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but his season average is like 3.5, 1 every 3.5 games.
he can do
So
it.
he's
It's
got to
gonna be
beat.
tough.
He's got to beat his
He's just
season
gotta have
average
some
at the end of the game. I mean, at the end of the year.
You just gotta have some solid games. I think he could do it. I would love.
The way he just smacks the ball. it's
Let's
like-
talk about it again. Let's make this a tradition then.
Listen, I can't get over it. It's just like when you're watching a game. It's like when we were over at my parents' house when you knew he was going to hit it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's just sitting there winding up and
yeah.
there's
And then
a
it was
go.
back-to-back
just like
pitches.
to-
we got home runs off of it.
Yeah.
The next guy walked up with the same
There's
home
something
run.
about his stance.
Yeah.
Like, danger is coming.
The man is 6'6" and like 260 pounds. They could throw it out of the strike box, and the man can still hit it with his arm reach. I mean, it's crazy how large that guy is. You can't. It's so tough to like. How do you pitch to that?
Yeah.
You could throw it outside the box, and the man's hitting home runs off of
It's
it.
also frustrating though because a lot of people walk him, so that also takes away from his.
Yeah, at
I
this
don't-
point, when people, if they're trying to make the playoffs, they may just walk him, get him to first, and not risk the home run. So, but that's part of the game.
I
It's
know.
just something you got to deal with.
It's like the fouling in basketball.
Yeah,
It's just something you deal with.
There's
It's
the
stupid.
shack attack for fouls, and there's just the judge walks
Hack a
in
shack.
baseball.
Hack a shack.
Yeah, what'd I say? That's it. I thought I said
Shack attack, I think you
Oh,
said.
I did say shack attack.
Yeah, you
oh
did.
man. Okay. Well, I sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
But can we?
No.
I'm gonna throw this out there just because I feel like it's a little bit more out of reach than Judge's home runs. If the Mets win the World Series, I'll buy 2 jerseys.
A
Why
home
two?
and away jersey.
Well, no, I'll just buy 2 different players. I don't know.
Oh.
I kind of like the black jerseys as a whole.
So you would get the same jersey color. You wouldn't switch it up 2 different.
No, I would
colors?
change it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want just 2 Mets jerseys. I think I would buy 1 all black Mets jersey, and then I'll probably buy 1 home. But it'd probably be DeGrom and either Pete, Pete Alonso, or Lindor. I like both of them.
I say you do it.
But
They had a
I know the
solid
World
win
Series.
yesterday.
Yeah, man, I love that. They beat the Dodgers twice. So to me, that was like we could compete
I think they finished the series 4-3. They won the whole.
over the whole season.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I know out of this series it was 2-1,
Yeah.
but besides last game, it was decided by 2 runs. The 2 games before that were 1 run apiece. So to me, in my head, I was like, man, that means they can. If they played with the Dodgers, I'm like they can compete for a World Series. So I was excited about it. But yeah, if they win the World Series, I'll buy 2 jerseys. I gotta make sure what they are, but.
Well, I'm glad you said it on air. That way
Yeah,
we
you
have
guys
it.
can hold me to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This sounds bad because I know you guys have been through it. I don't know 6 times at this point, but this will be the first time in my lifetime that my team has won a championship.
In your
Like,
Yeah.
lifetime.
in my lifetime.
In your
The-
lifetime.
You know, Jets have won 1, Mets have won 2. I was not alive for those.
Well, I would say your chances are good with the Mets.
Yes, Jets not so much. So
Next season.
we're not gonna talk about that.
There's always
but
next season.
There's always next season with the Jets. That's just how it goes. But with the Mets, this will be the first time in my lifetime that like my team wins a championship. So I'll be
Balls out.
I'll be excited, man. I'll be jazzed up. Absolutely.
Well, they're number what? 2 in the overall league?
Yeah, it
Number
was just
2?
the Dodgers and us. The Astros might be above us right now, but I think after the last Dodgers series, we might be second. But us and the Astros are toying with second and third right now.
Yeah,
I know everyone does. Unless you're an Astros fan, nobody likes the Astros.
yeah. But it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Yankees are like number 7, 8. They just keep dropping and dropping.
I think, but every team I feel like goes through a losing streak. I think you guys are just going through it later.
You're right. They could win the next 30.
They could absolutely.
Wow.
Is anyone? I don't know to this depth, but is anyone injured on the team?
Stanton was injured for a little bit. I don't know if he came back,
Okay.
but that's it.
Yeah. Well,
But they also did some trades before the deadline, and they got rid of some people, so
did some stuff. Yeah.
that could also affect. But they don't hit like they were.
They weren't. Can I just talk about Ashton just throwing these things back?
He had 4 last week.
Yeah, I love it. The only time Ashton's levels peak is when he cracks open a can,
open an
and
icy
I'm loving it. I think we're gonna keep it.
Are you saying I need to talk louder?
Yep.
Man,
No, not at all.
Michelob Ultra?
Even over this entire podcast, this man has only chugged down like 296 calories. Good for you with the Michelob
Superior light beer.
Ultra.
2.6 times 3 is
I can get it quicker.
78.
No, I can't.
7.8 carbs.
I can't do it.
And Ash, tell us how it tastes.
Crisp.
Crisp.
Stupid.
Jesse will try one week.
I don't think so.
Jesse's glass is getting empty over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Go use the bathroom, Dan. This is in no way professional. Yeah, I got another cup here ready to go.
Dan straight up has a CEO's chair.
I know
over
he
there.
does. I know he does.
It's even got back support.
As the guest, he's showing up all of us. He looks so much better on that side of the table than anyone else. It's embarrassing, really.
So Tim, one of the things that I wanted to follow up with you on from last week, how are the workouts going?
So they're going good. I took tonight off because I didn't want to
Oh, that's good.
do it tonight, I guess. But I'm still doing the push-ups, the sit-ups. I'm doing those things that you sit against the wall with your legs. You pretend you're like sitting down on a chair.
Yep.
It like burns
What are they called?
all over your legs. It's hard, but I'm doing good. I'm also doing. I didn't want to tell you guys this because you guys would be like, I know exactly who you're going to compare me to, but I am doing the carnivore diet.
Okay, Joe.
Thank you, Jesse. I started last week.
Mm-hmm. So, how's it going?
So
Wait, before we do that, explain. Are you only eating steak?
So I'm doing only things that are from animals. So meat. So I could do like beef. I'm doing steak. I'm doing organs.
You're doing organs?
I'm doing chicken hearts. That's it.
Okay, so you can eat chicken, fish, beef,
I could do
pork.
fish.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you could do eggs and cheese.
And you've been doing this for a week?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel so far?
I don't feel any different. I'm not as snackish though.
Okay.
So I don't snack. I mean, I can't snack throughout the day anyway. But so this is what I've been doing every day. I'll do 4 eggs with cheese, and I'll do a half a piece of steak with the eggs. And then for lunch, I'll either do burgers, just the burgers with cheese, or fish. And then for dinner, I'll do one or the other, like whichever one I didn't do for that. And then I can do honey. So if I'm doing something sweet, I'll just have some honey.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
Like a
salt.
tablespoon of honey or something, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could put it on your cheese though, like a sharp cheddar cheese. If you put some on top.
Speaking my language, Tim. Sharp cheddar.
Yeah. So other than that, it's just coffee and water.
Black coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
In fact, tomorrow morning I'm going to get a large Americano.
Yeah, you are.
Oh my goodness.
And got to wait about an hour and a half to drink it because it's scalding.
That's correct.
So,
I've been wanting to try it.
Tim's doing a carnivore diet.
I've been wanting to try it, but I haven't ever just done it. And last week I was feeling like my body was just really feeling like shit, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it because I eat so much junk.
So, being that you can have cheese, are you allowed to put milk in your coffee as well?
You can.
What about no fat milk?
But I don't really. I prefer just straight black.
Okay.
I'm trying to get him on just black coffee.
Okay.
So
fair point.
That's what I've been drinking black coffee for about 2 months though.
Yep.
Even your espressos?
Yeah. I haven't sugar, cream, or nothing for almost 3 months now.
Yeah, the Americano is just shots and water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I got to try that with the espresso drinks. Coffee, I have no problem, drinking black. But with the espresso, I still get some sort of sweeteners and stuff like that. So I gotta work a little bit more on that because
I prefer the darker stuff now.
You're talking about just drinking shots?
I don't want to say just drinking shots, but my normal order when I go to Starbucks has some sort of sweetener, whether it be toasted vanilla, classic syrup, and different things like that. So, but I always get some sort of milk in there as well. It's normally oat milk or non-fat milk. Mm-hmm. So, just changing that up, and oat milk I think is great. I
prefer those over regular milk because it leaves me too phlegmy.
Yes, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But they also upcharge you about $70 to $1.
But also, it's crazy for you because you love milk.
It's stupid.
So,
I do love milk. Yeah, I do.
But either way, it's nice. It's nice to be doing something, and I'm sticking to it. So
yeah.
Between
nice,
the workouts, minimal workouts, and then the diet.
You want to know what the biggest thing was that changed me over from regular milk to oat milk and non-fat milk? Like you said, it leaves you phlegmy. But my job consists of me talking nonstop.
Yeah.
So it's really annoying when I'm clearing my throat every 3 seconds while talking to somebody.
Right.
I was like, this has got to stop. I can't keep doing this. So that's when I made the decision to go oat milk or non-fat milk, because he's right. Yeah, I was clearing my throat way too often. I was like, this just sounds weird. Like they think I'm sick or something. I can't do this.
Yeah, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is coffee a energy thing for you or a pleasure?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I can definitely, you know what, honestly, when I drink usually black coffee or low sugared coffee and stuff like that, I can definitely tell my mood and changing and stuff like that. I can tell when I'm, I get energy and stuff like that from the caffeine. So I like drinking black coffee for that reason, but I enjoy it. I mean, that's why I get a coffee every morning, whether I'm making it at home or Starbucks and stuff like that too, other coffee places. But it's a little bit of both. I can tell, but that's why I think I'm so specific when I go get my coffee, is because when I go get my coffee from these places, I know which ones hit me the right way to where I have more energy. But there's been plenty of times where I go and get coffee from places and it does not give me the energy I'm expecting, and I feel like I need to get another coffee. And so I think that's why I'm so specific with it sometimes.
So a slightly unknown drink to do at Starbucks if you're ever dragging one day and you just kind of want to get it quick.
Yeah.
So a doppio con panna.
I have not heard of that.
So
my fiance used to work at Starbucks.
I'd be interested if Kristi knows what that is. So it's just a double shot of espresso, and they put it in one of the little cups, and then they squirt whipped cream on top of it.
Just blend it.
and they don't blend it. It's just double shot whipped cream.
Okay.
And the whipped cream, it's kind of a tequila lime type thing where the whipped cream cuts the sharp bitterness of the espresso.
Yeah.
But like in 15 minutes, you're feeling good. So if you're ever in need of some quick, it'll hit you faster than black coffee will.
If anyone's, I'm going to take note of that because I will definitely do that. Kristi taught me this thing of when you go and get lattes, don't actually buy a latte. Buy the iced shaken espresso version and then just add the syrup of the latte that you want. So for instance, she likes this is not a latte necessarily, but she likes the white chocolate mocha drink.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of buying a white chocolate mocha where there's a lot of milk, she'll get an iced shaken espresso and then add the white chocolate mocha mix to it.
Okay.
And then it's honestly a lot cheaper because they're not charging you for all the milk and stuff that's added to it.
Right.
So she usually just does that and tastes like a white chocolate mocha, just has a lot more coffee flavor to it because there's not as much milk and way cheaper. So just get a nice shaken espresso and then add the flavoring of what normal latte you get. And that's usually it. It's usually $2 or $3 cheaper, and yeah, it tastes just as good. That's just her Starbucks opinion, though. Do what you want with it.
Of course. But that's why I always from now on, I'm just doing the black coffee. It makes it easier that way you don't have to think of all the things you have to choose.
I made the mistake of when we were in New Jersey, I told my brother, I was like, yeah, I've been drinking a lot of black coffee lately, but I failed to mention that's when I make it at home. I just make 1 cup of black coffee and just drink it. So he takes me to Starbucks. He was like, hey, you want anything? I was like, yeah. And I was like, give me the ice shaken espresso, 2 squirts of the toasted vanilla syrup, and two things of classic with oat milk. And he was like, Dad, I thought you told me you just drink black coffee now. And I was like, oh, yeah, except when I go to Starbucks. So he looked at me like I was an idiot. I was like, yeah, I should clarify, my man. I'm sorry about that. That was on me.
He's like, you sound like a woman.
Yeah,
ordering
like,
10 different.
He's like, you got that bougie drink over there. And I was like, well, I drink black coffee when I make it at home, but when I go to a coffee shop, I'm pretty specific. So Dunkin' Donuts, I just get a classic cold brew, nothing added to it. Just cold brew, and that's it. And then when I go to Starbucks is when I mix and match those other flavors and stuff like that. But yeah, he was making fun of me hard. He was just like, dude, you just told me to drink black coffee. He's like, you bought like a $5 drink now. What in the world? I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's my bad. I should have told you that.
And I could see Jonathan doing that too. That's
making
why it's
fun
funny.
of me. Yeah. Anytime he has the opportunity to make fun of me, he will.
And probably just stare at you for a good 20 seconds before he said anything to you.
Yeah.
Who's at the door? Who's at the window?
Somebody's at the window, Jess.
Billy?
Oh,
Yeah, it is Billy.
I was like,
I don't know. Yeah, that was Billy. That creeped me out. Jesus. And I said, Billy. He goes, just shakes his head. Yeah.
I was like,
oh, I closed the garage. That was a problem.
Oh.
Yeah, he's here for the weekend, and I was like, we're recording, but you can just like come hang out, if you want. And I think he went to go get dinner or something. That was
funny. Real creepy.
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell?
I wouldn't have even noticed. He could have just texted me or called me.
Did he text you and you just didn't look?
No, not at all.
Didn't text me either. Okay.
I hope he knows the garage code. But anyway.
So Tim, circling back to where we began, I'm glad to hear that the workouts are still going
yeah, I'm
good.
trying to stick to it. It's only been a week and a half.
I'm going to be curious to hear how long are you planning on doing the carnivore?
I want to see how I feel after next Friday. I might stop, but if I'm feeling good, I might just keep it going.
You'd probably need to be doing like blood work and stuff to like really see if you're like going to notice a difference. Isn't that
well,
more
they
of
say
like
it takes usually like
at least 2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks till you feel or
I feel like a lot of
anything.
diets are that way, though. You got to take some time to really develop and get your body
because
used to it.
I mean I'm cutting out like soda, candy, chips, like all this stuff I've been eating and eating and eating. And now
it's so good though.
I love that you're doing the carnivore diet. I just really wish you weren't cutting off alcohol as
I
much.
know, but if I drink alcohol, then it's not really the diet.
I know. You know, and I'm glad you're sticking to it. But
Yeah, I mean,
I wish it was that way.
I want to see how it feels because I looked up all the I don't know what's all negative, and everybody's body is different, but there are. I don't even know where it is. Either way,
He's coming.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get tired of the same stuff every time because all I do is use salt and pepper.
That's
And-
it?
Yeah.
No garlic powder?
No.
That's tough.
I
No
know.
seasoning or nothing? Is that what you're saying?
No, just salt and pepper.
Wow.
Salt and pepper. I mean, I thank God for salt and pepper, but garlic powder? That's a substitute. I would have to do that.
But that's why I'm grateful for honey.
Yeah.
Because it's
yeah,
a natural thing. Is that why you can have it?
Well, yeah, but they also said because it comes from bees, so that's an animal
Hmm.
per se.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I wasn't going to say anything because I know Jesse was going to say, Joe Rogan.
Hey, I wouldn't have unless you said you prefaced it with "You're going to compare me to somebody." Then I had to do it.
You know, if you hit me with the I'm eating elk, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, Joe Rogan all day,
Yeah.
every day. you
Yeah.
know?
I actually,
While doing DMT.
yeah. Guys,
I was
over here.
watching Joe Rogan's UFC top commentator expressions when people get knocked out. They just show Joe Rogan's
Just
face.
grabbing people.
I love it so much.
I
Yeah.
do too.
It's the greatest thing.
One of my favorites was the last guy that got knocked out. And he was like, his eyes got all big. He's throwing his hands back and stuff like that. And someone said, "This is the face that kids make at hibachi station." I lost it. I was like, that's one of the greatest examples of all time. That was spot on.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's good people.
Man.
Jesse, you're a fan
Of what?
of Joe Rogan. You love him.
Yeah, he's cool.
Did you guys listen to the
Aaron
whole thing of
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers?
I haven't listened to
I
any
haven't
of
started
it
yet.
Okay.
I haven't
guess we're all
started
on
it.
the same
I'm still on the
page.
Mark Zuckerberg one.
Nah,
I'm like 30 minutes into that
I'm
one.
gonna skip over that one.
You can skip over it, but I'm still very curious as to hear him talk. Even though,
he had Zuck on.
yeah,
Rogan?
I watched like a 20-minute clip. Did you know that, Bill? Joe Rogan had Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, Joe Rogan had Mark Zuckerberg on his podcast. I watched like a 30-minute clip of it on YouTube, like a short clip, and it was like talking to a politician. Like he was talking to a politician.
Yeah.
I feel
So-
like when you have that much power over just any kind of influence
Yeah.
and stuff
He
like
has
that,
to talk
he's
like
got to
that.
do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You want to be real. Like, for instance, like Elon Musk. He's a real dude. Like, you can ask him questions and he'll answer honestly. But when you have a kind of influence over how you affect people's mindsets, he's going to answer politically correct 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Elon-
that's kind of how it went. It was. So I still want to try to listen to it, but the clip I saw, it was like, it's exactly what you think it would be like.
Yeah, every time Zuckerberg speaks publicly, there's a veneer
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that he has up. It's
Yeah.
not like Elon at all.
But yeah, I didn't do the Aaron Rodgers one yet. He's had the past 4 or 5 podcasts he's done have been people that I want to watch, so I need like 2 weeks of listening time to like catch up on all of it.
Outside of podcasts, does anyone here actually use Spotify as like a regular music? No. Does everyone use Apple Music for the most part? Apple. Okay. I was just making sure I was not the only one. Kristi hit me with a left hook of like, she was like, "Oh man, yeah, I use Spotify for music and everything. I got playlists." And she shares them with me. And I'm like, I never one time will open a Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Don't come at me with a Spotify playlist. I will just look it up on Apple Music and listen to each song individually and create my own playlist.
Yeah.
Obviously, podcasts and them selling out and stuff like that, I got it. But it is okay. I was just making sure I wasn't the only one who did that.
Yeah.
I feel like if you haven't been using Spotify for years, you're just not.
I'm not getting into it. Yeah.
That's
It's
the thing.
and then everyone, at the end of the year, I don't know what month it is, but everyone at the same time posts their like
Year in
know,
review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I listened to this song or this album or this artist so many times over the last year. And I'm like, I don't think anyone cares except you.
Right.
So keep listening to what you want to. That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Oh,
you're
gosh.
awfully quiet over there.
Man, I'm just tired, I think.
From your one day of working?
Yeah. It's exhausting going in for just a day.
I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah.
So Dragon
Yes.
Con's this weekend.
The one you're, oh, that's not the one we were going to go
That's
to.
actually a big one.
Dragon
Yeah,
Con
it
is
is.
quite big.
Is anyone going to that? Or
Mm-mm.
no?
No,
Is
that
there,
anything-
is
is-
there rules?
I'm sure, but so much of Dragon Con is outside,
Yeah.
and I would like to see the parade one time.
Is that something that anyone is interested in going to?
If there was a group, I would go. I wouldn't want to go alone.
Just yeah. So if there was a group of what would be considered a group, 4, 5, 6 people?
More than one person.
Okay, so 2 people. Okay. This man does not have
Two-
high
2
expectations.
plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the 1st through
man.
the 5th.
Yep.
Yeah.
It started yesterday and runs through Monday. I think
I
it's the
see
5th.
I see a lot of people get dressed up for it, and I feel like I would be the idiot that just like goes in like regular clothes.
In street clothes.
I feel like that's one of the few spots that if you don't go in dressed up, you're the odd man out.
Right.
A lot of people go hard for Dragon Con.
Yeah.
So
So, I will say that there's only Sunday tickets available. Friday, Saturday,
We're not going anyway.
sold out. Or you can get the Sunday through Monday, which is still available for $160.
say less. I'm in, guys. Who's going?
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money for 2 days.
Well,
Mm.
each
I got stuff to
ticket's
do.
70 separate. Each
So
ticket
is
70.
Monday is still like a thing? You can just buy Monday tickets?
It didn't show Monday. It just showed up to Sunday.
Oh.
But Friday and Saturday were sold out, and then Sunday was available, limited.
Yeah. I know it's actually a pretty big event. I think people fly in for this, and
Yeah.
I've never been, but it seems
Oh.
pretty big.
And Monday's Labor Day, so that's why they're doing it through Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just AWA for the whole 4 days is less than $100.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money. 160 for 2
I
days.
think there was a lot more things to do though at Dragon Con than
Oh, yeah,
AWA.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
AWA is just anime focused, but Dragon Con's like
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of discussion groups and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. When people actually go into discussion groups and like
Yeah.
kind of like talk about what they like and don't like and things they want to see out of like certain books or movies or whatever it is. Like I thought that was kind of cool too. So I feel like there is a lot to do at Dragon Con. I don't know. Seems pretty cool.
If we planned it one year, I would do it.
Well, we've been trying to do AWA, and it's
Can't.
just still not working out.
We can't
Yeah.
because I'm not doing the rules.
Yeah.
Do they have more rules than like Dragon Con? Or
It's the show proof of vaccination. Got to
Oh.
wear a mask the whole time.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it probably won't be the same this year then because CDC just relaxed.
It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
That's why we're so upset about it, because they're still doing that.
Yeah,
like
they
it's
just
3 years
literally. I was relieved when me and Jesse got on the airplane to New Jersey, and they were like, "You don't even have to wear masks on the plane anymore."
Yeah.
So I figured that most events and stuff like that would come down, but
It just depends on the people making the event, really.
yeah,
And anime people are usually
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
yeah, okay, all right, cool. I
Yeah.
do want to go to that same event we went to in October last year. It was either October or November.
the
Collision
course.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna go back to that and just go more prepared.
I want to
think
go
now-
on a hype day, like on a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah, I don't want to go on Sunday
On
when everyone's
Sunday.
closing up
Yeah.
and things are sold already. Because a lot of the people who are selling there, before the sales even start, they'll go between each other and buy their own stuff before they even make it to a lot of customers and stuff like that. They'll do just trade days only, and it'll be 2 or 3 hours on a if they fly in on a Friday night, they'll do something between like 7 and 9, and then the event starts on Saturday at 9 a.m. And some of the stuff that you may want is already gone. So if you know somebody to get in there or stuff like that, it's definitely worth it. But I definitely want to go on a hype day where a lot of stuff is selling, a lot of graded stuff or something that highly sought after.
Was that when you bought all the MetaZoo?
Yeah, that's when I bought the Flesh and Blood, the MetaZoo. Did I buy 2
Yeah,
MetaZoo?
you bought Tales of Aria.
Yeah, I bought Tales of Aria, MetaZoo.
I don't know.
I think I bought one other thing. I bought 3 boxes. I
Yeah.
don't remember. Maybe I bought 2 base set 2s of
Cryptid Nation, you mean?
Cryptid Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
But it was good. I think if we all went, you would. They had a lot of Flesh and Blood, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemon was absurd everywhere.
One of the coolest
Lots of sneakers.
Yeah, sneakers were there. One of the coolest things that I think you would appreciate, they had an ABA basketball signed by Julius Irving.
You told me about that.
I did. And
That's cool.
I thought that was cool because you don't see a whole lot of like original outside of the NBA. You don't see a whole lot of stuff, but some of those earlier leagues and stuff like that was pretty cool to see. So
Yeah.
And if Angelo goes again next year, maybe we can go
we'll probably get back in. Yeah.
Although I don't think he's gonna go.
Yeah, I
He
don't
was
think
making
make
it
that
seem
much
like he
money.
didn't. Yeah, he wasn't
He
gonna
make
go.
a lot of money on that one. But he might do it if it's just like, oh, your family's over there. He might just make an appearance and not plan for. If there's no other events going on or anything, he may just show up just to kind of use it as a free ride to come down here for a couple of days and stuff like that too. Because I went up there almost every night outside of the event. I still went up there to have like dinners with him and stuff like that too. So the hotel they stay at is nice, and they got restaurants and bars there.
it was the same place as AWA, the same venue,
Okay.
like the same dealer's room. They were in that one, the big dealer's room at AWA. That's the room they use for.
They use the same hotel?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
So Cobb Galleria Center with, I don't think it's a Hyatt. It's, yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
Like an event center, event space, or
Yeah, well, the hotel.
Jess, I gotta say, the first time we did this before I had the mic, Ashton was really down and wasn't talkative, and now look at you.
It's exact opposite.
Why can't we just get it all working?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Was that the? That was the
I
first
missed
time.
this. What is it?
No, I said the first time we did this, you were like Jesse, and now Jesse's just like down and depressed.
Tired.
He's like,
I'm not depressed. I'm tired.
it's bedtime. It's 8:00
It's nap time,
on a
man.
Friday.
It's nap time. Why is this not plugged in? The charger.
Oh, the charger.
Yeah, not the. Any balls over here. Any balls on the Barstool podcast? And they have an interview, and then he's sitting there eating a sundae. He's like this big guy. I'm just sitting here drinking wine, judging. I'm glad I caught that. Yeah. As he's sipping on his wine. Yeah. What do you got, Ash?
The Dragon Con, I forgot that it was this weekend. So my dad, I forget what the condition or the reason is, but basically he has to give blood every 90 days because his blood is thicker than normal. He has to take blood thinners, but they recommend that he give blood every 90 days to keep the stress off of his heart. And Life South, I think, is the name of the blood blood bank. Is that what you would call it? It's not the Red Cross. I think it's Life South. So anyways, they said that they told him that Dragon Con was coming up this weekend, and that they actually, similar to UPS does at Christmas, they hire temporary help to go downtown and set up the big buses,
The
where they bring
Bloodmobile.
people in.
Yeah.
And that they have so many people that are attending Dragon Con give blood while they're there that some of them have waited over 2 hours in line to give blood. And they said it's wild that people will be all dressed up in their costumes, but it may be that they're waiting on some kind of event to start, and they're just there. But they told my dad with COVID, the blood banks are pretty depleted right now.
Mhm.
So,
I was curious about that. When people do donate blood and stuff like that, I'm assuming they've got to test them
oh yeah,
right before they do that
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like they got to be extra secure on that on Dragon Con. I've never been nor heard of going around that area at that time, but I've heard it's pretty crazy when it comes to that kind of
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they got to be pretty strong with their testing and, you know,
right.
you know what I mean. So, not to go too much in depth, but I feel like Dragon Con is a odd place to set that kind of stuff up.
Hey, based on what they were saying, the nerds are saving lives downtown
Oh,
while
good
they're
for them.
dressed up as
Saving-
stormtroopers. So,
Okay.
but it would be fun to do that once, the parade at least. I know that they have at least a Star Wars portion of it. It'd be cool to see that in person because
Yeah.
some of the people do go full out
Mhm.
where they actually look like they walked off of a movie set.
Mhm.
So
Did we bring something to talk about at all? We did.
Did you not?
Didn't we have something?
Top 5 albums.
Yeah.
You said you had some stuff in mind.
we did top 5 albums. You asked me about the jersey. I want to talk to Tim about working out.
I do have a topic.
Yep, go for
but
it.
I couldn't remember if we started one. Not saying like we need one. I
So-
couldn't remember.
I was on the internet and I came across an article about Disney,
Uh-huh.
and they have decided to make a TCG. It's
Oh.
called Lorcana, and the premise is it's it's like all of the Disney worlds combined, kind of. And it has a veteran from Wizards of the Coast who's also helped design the art.
It's a good sign.
But it is a treasury of all the Disney songs and stories ever made, all characters. And
Songs.
it's where they're kind of recorded. The players take on this role of Illumineer, this powerful sorcerer that has the ability to bring these characters to life off the page. So players will be bringing a band of their favorite Disney characters together to adventure the world of Disney.
Is this digital?
No, it's a TCG.
Well, I know that, but it could
So-
still be digital. Is it?
It could be
So-
also
What do you mean by songs?
like maybe some of the
Cards are like-
words have like phrases and stuff from all the different things.
Sure.
Or maybe it's an online TCG.
So you can get
too.
like a Circle of Life trading card.
Maybe.
So many
But
questions.
it's-
I feel like there's a lot to
The-
dig deep on that.
Yeah, it's a modern storybook art style, and I mean I didn't get to look at it all, but it's inspired by their Disney films, and they're making a TCG next year in 2023.
I mean,
It's called Lorcana.
I feel like it's so popular right now. A lot of people, it'd be especially for a company like Disney to jump in on it and try to make money off of it.
But I don't know how
long it's gonna
cheesy it's
last.
going to be.
Oh, it's going to be incredibly cheesy.
Absolutely,
It's going to be for kids. That's what it's going to be.
They're gonna.
I just
I thought
I
they
would
would
agree
have
with
done it
that.
about 2 years ago.
Yeah. It would have been
I
a
mean-
good time. I think they're jumping in on the tail end of it, but
I think
yeah, I
it's
feel
gonna,
like it's gonna be cheesy for sure.
I think it's going to be a Hearthstone style because it looks exactly like the same. I think it's going to be like an app. Do you think it's going to be physical TCG? Does it say that at all?
It doesn't say it, but I assumed it was. Man,
Each billionaire franchises.
Are you
Collectible
good?
trading card game. The first. Okay, it says the first sets are expected in 2023.
physical?
Did you suck too hard?
Shit.
That's.
Yeah. It's a lesson for the week over there. Don't suck too hard.
That's what it seems like. It says the first sets are expected to release in 2023, and then they keep referencing board games. The collectible game will include modern storybook art style.
Isn't that weird? Like, I'm not sure what it's like. It sounds like they're going to make it like like a board game, but I don't know if like it's just
It
it's
says
a weird concept.
mixes both traditional hand-drawn qualities seen in fairy tale storybooks with new digital techniques.
So is this going to be? It seems like they're focusing a lot on the artwork. So I feel like it'd be more of a collector's thing than a game thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the game's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never played a TCG anyway, so.
Yeah. I did play Pokemon back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, we've all
Mine too.
dabbled. We
Yeah.
tried Magic for a little bit, but.
Magic.
Yeah.
That was fun. I was just showing Billy my the like sets I've been completing, and he was like, "Oh, I remember this card. Oh, I remember this card." It was pretty cool. I liked it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. You just just sprung it on me, but
I'm gonna take one card series at a time. I'm just gonna try to get into sports cards right now.
Yeah.
Me
good
personally.
luck with that.
I know. There's so much to even learn about that. So gotta take baby steps. But
Yeah, I don't know.
there's a lot to Pokemon. I didn't realize how many sets they have in Pokemon. You know, there's so many.
No, you're good.
Okay.
You know, there's so many Pokemon, like, I don't know, series. Like, I didn't even realize, you know? So, I know with some of the stuff in sports and stuff like that, it's going to be difficult, but I don't know. It's definitely something I'd take the most interest into. Disney, though, I don't know. I would love to get into some of that stuff, too.
I think
I got to see what it's about first.
I think if they do like limited first print runs and it turns out really good, I think it would be worth getting like at the beginning of it.
Ground level.
Yeah, ground level.
It's a big company, so
Yeah.
obviously if it's something that does take off and having
Yeah.
the first edition and the first
Yep.
rounds of stuff, it could
And
definitely be valuable in 10 or 15 or 20 years.
and when you have Disney on it, you're bringing in all the Disney collectors too,
yeah,
not just
ton of
TCG.
those.
Yeah.
Ton of Disney collectors.
Yeah,
If they have a first edition stamp on it,
Ooh.
it is Wizards of the Coast.
I'm sure the artwork will
Ish.
look really good though,
Maybe.
because I mean they seem to be bringing a lot of people who know what they're doing. And when I saw Wizards, I was like,
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would be worth it to at least buy a couple.
it would be
Of the
cool
first
just to see
wave.
like Disney characters on like a
Yeah.
trading card.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of on the trading card thing, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I just found out that there are buyback cards. Have you ever heard of those?
You told me yesterday,
I did.
but you could tell the people.
Jesse, did I tell you
No.
about those? Or okay, so it's big in sports cards, and I'm assuming it could be very similar to other trading card games and stuff like that. But it's when a company buys back a regular card. It doesn't have to be anything special, just a regular card that they put out there. But they'll only buy back a certain number of those, and then they put a stamp on them. So it's like, you know, that stamp is raised on the card, and then they'll number them, making it more valuable right off the bat. But it's the same kind of card as anything else. I saw one recently on a Kobe Bryant card. I saw the regular Kobe Bryant card, and I saw the buyback Kobe Bryant card. It was graded, had a raised stamp on it, and then it was numbered out of 99. But the value of that same exact card that was not bought back was another $200 or $300.
I do have a question about these buybacks. Do they just sell them as a single buyback, like when they're done, or do they put it in a random pack?
That I'm assuming it's not even put in packs. I'm assuming it's like you pull the card, and then for a limited time you can submit the card as a buyback,
And then they'll just
maybe
give it back
get
to
it right
you?
back. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what I'm thinking. Because it was literally just a regular. It was like a 98 or 99 Kobe Bryant card that I saw. Regular card was like, I don't know, $30-$40, and then when I saw it as a buyback with the stamp and numbered, it was selling for like $400 and $500. So, but it's just a regular card that Panini or Topps or Upper Deck bought back, stamped, numbered, and sent it right back to the owner.
It's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely, but they did it for like a limited time. You know, as soon as they got the number cards that they wanted, cut off, done. And then they just, yeah, it was pretty cool.
I kind of like it because there's nothing flashy. It's just a stamp with a number.
Stamp and a number. That's it. And people get them graded, of course.
Of course. You got to get everything graded.
Yeah.
You'll just wait about a year and a half. Jess, how you doing?
I'm living the dream, man.
Tell us something new. What's
Something
the topic
new.
you got?
I don't have any topics. I didn't bring anything.
Yeah, I think you're ready just to go lay down.
No, I got nowhere to be.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
If I can just say your haircut looks great.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels a lot better.
Did your wife like it?
That's a no.
I mean,
You didn't have to answer.
obviously she prefers the longer hair, but I think she's like okay with this length. But I'm not gonna do long hair for a long time again. It was too hot. It was always in my face. It was too much.
I think a lot of it has to do with your job too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I have to wear a hat every day of my life, and it just got tiring and annoying. I got headaches every day because of it. I always had a headache because I was pulling my hair back to keep it out of my
Pull
face.
on the scalp and
So I'd get home and like I'd have to lay down for like a half hour just and then take like ibuprofen or something.
yeah.
So it was getting too much.
Well, it looks good. You look fantastic.
Spanx.
Tim's next.
Feel good.
I'm so far along and winter's coming, so probably just hold out.
I'm excited to be I'm excited to be wearing beanies again and not having like the hair flying out the bottom of it.
I stopped wearing beanies a while ago though.
Yeah.
It makes it just makes the top of your head hot, like the forehead area.
That's the point of a
ears.
beanie.
I can't
Keep you
deal
warm.
with it.
That's the point of a beanie.
I know that it's the point of the beanie, but that's why I stopped wearing it. Because
You just described why
used to-
everyone wears a beanie.
I-
He's like, that's why I don't.
But I used to wear beanies in the summertime too.
I hate that beanies work.
I used to wear beanies all year round.
Yeah. Well, you
it
don't
was
keep it on
never-
your forehead. You pull it back to your hairline. Right here.
And then you look weird though.
No, you don't. That's a good look. Okay, you're nuts.
Can I just point out how healthy Tim's hairline is?
Yeah.
I mean, the man's not going bald anytime
No,
soon.
I
of
mean,
course not.
thank
Jealous.
God, because my dad started going bald when he was in his 20s.
It skips a generation.
I don't know because Dad still has a full head of hair on him.
You're
I
only
think-
20,
I
you're only
think you-
26.
I think you guys got
Billy's
your-
33.
I think you guys
Yeah,
got
Billy,
your...
Billy
Wait,
is still looking
31.
healthy over there.
31.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be
I think
fine.
you guys got your mother's side of hair.
Me too?
Yeah.
There's no way. I have my dad's hair through.
He has my dad's hair. I have my mom's hair. My mom's dad's hairline is like exact.
Okay.
Yeah. But either way,
Mine grows. See, Jesse's will grow out and kind of have that nice suave flow. Mine will just goes out.
Yeah.
Like my dad.
Yeah.
That's why I can't
Yeah.
grow like Jesse's does.
yeah. But either way,
Random
still.
topics that being pulled in. It's like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. You know that Hope Fantastic podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. We're bringing you in. We're bringing you in. Yeah. But yeah, I like the shorter hair. I'm preferring it.
That's a solid pour.
I'm a fan too.
Just
Thank
want you to know. Minimal foam, just a nice.
There it is, number
clear
4.
top.
Yeah.
You'll love to see it. I'll take a sip
Yeah.
with you.
Dan, you should bring a glass next time.
Yeah, we need new glasses.
Yeah, this just keeps it. I know. I do need.
There you go.
I will pull a glass next time. This just keeps it colder because I'm a slow sipper. I nurse my drinks a lot.
Looking like a soccer mom over there.
Let's put boy mom on the side of my
man.
cup.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So does Alicia do men's haircuts as well, or only?
She does mostly women's, but she'll cut Larry's whenever he needs one.
But Larry has long
Fine.
hair.
Yeah, she does trims on him a lot though.
Okay.
Larry's hair is majestic.
He's got but I think for the most part she does women's hair. Yeah.
I know at the salon she works at, it's pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, almost all women. They do hair,
Mhm.
makeup, and some skincare and stuff like that now too. I got to give her props though. She did tell me she's one of the few in her salon that does like makeup and hair, so she gets pulled for a lot of weddings. So she makes a lot of side cash because she can do makeup and hair. They only have to hire one person. And not everyone at her salon can do both. So I got to give her props to that because she was telling me some of the money she makes on these weddings, especially in the Northeast. Northeast is like, they make their weddings are pretty big sometimes. And she makes a lot of money on those makeup and hair and stuff like that. So I got to give her props on that. But
Yeah.
this salon, I feel like every time I go in there, I don't think I've ever seen a guy inside of that salon for the most part.
Yeah.
It's always been, anytime I see her cut a guy's haircut, it's always Jesse or Larry. One of the two. It's one of them.
That's right. Yeah. What?
Well, that's even better. You fly all the way to Jersey just to get your haircut.
And that's the last time I got a haircut. It was the last time I was in Jersey. It was 2 times ago, but I haven't gotten a haircut in Georgia in about 2 years.
Do you not like going to the...
Every time I go, they do it wrong.
Yeah.
Or I just don't like it. Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
had that one lady you always went to.
Well, we had the first one. She moved away, and then we still went to see her for a year or two, and then we just kind of stopped. Then I found that other girl that I knew from camp. I don't know what happened. I guess I just thought... I think I grew my hair out after I went to her for 2 or 3 times, and then we just lost touch, and I didn't want to like come out of the blue a year and a half later. And then I went to Sam's Club, our fantastic Sam's. I did see that girl Monica. That may be who you were talking about. And then she left the salon, so then I just stopped getting haircuts.
It's hard to find a good barber.
Yeah.
One that cuts hair
Although
just the way you want it.
Yeah. Although Savannah is seeing this girl in the square now. She's actually I think she's a Kuhn. She's somehow in the Kuhn family. I know. They're everywhere. And she asked her if she does men's hair, and I think I'll just go see her next time. Yeah. I can't remember her name, though. I don't know.
You could just take the Jake approach and just shave it every
Yeah,
time.
I can't do that.
Post Malone.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Jasmine will just buzz cut his hair every time it gets a little long.
Yeah. No. I don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever do that.
You kind of remind me of Zach Galifianakis in Hangover 2.
Yeah, with the big beard. Yeah.
Wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's
Hey,
good.
you had a question for me and Tim.
Well, my question for Tim was about his working out, and then my question for you was about your trip.
Oh, so you fit it in pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, man.
What trip?
Jersey.
Oh, that was at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh,
He snuck it in.
okay.
Yeah. Did you bring something?
So when I talked to you guys said, we'll all bring topics. No need to do it all. I was going to write down like 6 or 7, but I only wrote down 1.
I think you should start doing 6 or 7. I think that should be your thing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I had multiple things last week, and it seemed to be
Yeah, you did.
going well. And I did not come prepared this time because I thought everybody was going to bring stuff.
Well, who cares? We're not prepared.
You
We're
talking
just
like
we're just
topics?
talking.
Yeah.
So what did you bring last week that you did not talk about?
I talked about everything.
We
I think.
talked about everything.
You did.
Yeah.
Touched on everything, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his sweet spot 4.
4 is a sweet spot.
Yeah, it is.
That's what he had last
I brought
week.
a.
I'm looking
I,
at him. He's getting the giggles over here, and
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
That's the Ashton I'm a fan of. I brought a hypothetical question for you guys.
Okay, I was about to say because you had all this verve when we were at
Verve?
Italian Oven on Thursday on Wednesday.
Explain
You have
that to
fill
me.
in what a
Let's run that
verve
back.
is.
Did we
Verve?
talk about the questions while we
Yeah,
were
because
there?
you said, I'm going to have some, but they're going to be hypotheticals.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to see the Italian oven?
Sure
We're just
did.
going to skip over
So,
that.
yeah,
We talked podcast business without you.
This is
No,
unfortunate.
it was before practice. We were on the way to practice, and I left, and he was already there. So I met up with him and had dinner, and then we went to practice.
What did you? What did
You
have?
wouldn't have come all the way down
What did
for
you, what
that.
did you have?
Chicken Caesar salad. Nothing fancy.
Oh, we're gonna skip over that. Ashton, what did you have?
Caesar salad with
Ha.
a calzone.
Okay.
Okay. At least we
Okay.
got a little something thrown in there.
Okay. All right.
Someone
We also had a Caesar salad.
What kind of calzone did you have, though? What kind of meats did you throw in that bad boy?
Pepperonis and mushrooms.
Ooh.
and down the whole thing. I was
The
impressed. It was a
entire
big one.
Thing?
I was impressed.
The server came up to our table. I was halfway through, and he's like, "Can I get you a box for that?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
finish it."
If you would kindly
Yeah,
step
sorry.
away, sir. I have a lot of food to eat.
Yeah.
I'm a super slow eater, and Jesse just gets business done pretty quick. So it ends up him just watching me eat,
Yeah.
and I've still got half of my plate left.
Yeah. It gives me time to ask him questions when his mouth is full.
Okay.
That's what I do. Yeah, I eat fast. I don't really take my time.
Just to throw another topic out there, I would like to see what I know you're a Falcons fan, they're Patriots fans, I'm a Jets fan. What you think the records might be for this year? Do you have any opinions on that, or any time to think about it?
Falcons will be under 500.
Well, that's a given. I feel like the Jets might be the same way. So, but I would like to hear from maybe them what they think the Patriots might be. It was a light off season for the Patriots. So
I'll
not
be
too many big
I'll be
signings.
happy going 9-8 or 10-7.
10-7.
I'm good with
10-7,
that
9-8.
because we have a tough division.
We do.
Now.
We do.
Miami's been good for a couple years, but they're starting to get better.
Miami, I think, yeah. So I think it depends a lot about Tua.
Yeah.
If Tua can handle it, he's got so many. I mean, they just signed Tyreek Hill.
They
got so many offensive weapons.
They got a
It's
lot
gonna
of
be
people. Yeah. I mean,
even if Tua did subpar with the staff that he has around him, they should still be able to win games. That's how good they are.
I think obviously Bills are kind of
they're
already given to the number one, but
Yep.
then I think Miami, then Pats, and then Jets.
You think Jets are gonna be last, eh? Okay.
Not a knock. I'm just saying.
I know. I was just talking to Jesse about that. Last year we had 4 wins. All we have to do is break another 4 or 5 wins with the moves we made in the offseason and the draft class to make it right at that 500 space. It's not like it's anything drastic. We had 4 wins. We just need to make it to 9-8 now that they have 17 games. So we just need to make up another 5 games somewhere.
I mean, I think
So-
I think the league is way more well-rounded
It's
than
hard.
it usually is.
It is.
So,
The Jets, I know this is the thing about the Jets. I know in our class, I think we have a good possibility of splitting between the Patriots and the Jets. I think we might go like whoever's home, I think might win the game. Dolphins are a toss-up. It just depends on how Tua is doing. And then Bills, I think they're just going to sweep our division. I don't think there's a chance.
everybody.
Yeah. Josh Allen's going to pop off. He can run. He can pass. He can do whatever he wants to. He's like a young Big Ben. He can do whatever he wants to.
That's why I enjoyed last year's game when it was in Buffalo, I think, when it
Yeah.
was like negative degrees and there was wind everywhere and all they did was run the ball.
Yeah.
That was a fun game to watch.
It was crazy
It
to
was
watch.
a fun game to watch.
Absolutely. And so I think it's going to be interesting to watch. Falcons, I think it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. But
6-11.
6-11.
Okay. I would like to see if we can maybe grab a schedule of what our games will be, and then maybe form an opinion of like, theoretically, I'm going to be unbiased as possible. I would love for the Jets to go 17-0. You know,
Obviously.
that's not going to happen. So
Of course.
I would like to kind of get an opinion of like what everyone thinks their team might go for the season. I know the Jets, they have a very difficult schedule. We're facing right on week 1 the Ravens. I feel like I feel like they're close to a Super Bowl contending team. I think Lamar Jackson's coming back healthy. Dobbins is coming back healthy. I feel like they got a good team going for them. I think the Browns, outside of Deshaun Watson dropping, I don't know who their Do you know who their quarterback is going to be? I don't even know their backup.
They got so shafted in that deal.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of what's his name, Mayfield, for like a 5th or 6th round pick.
Yeah.
I was like, it's mind blowing. The Jets traded the Panthers for 4 picks for Sam Darnold to that same team. 2nd round, 4th round, and I think a 6th round, a couple like a 5th or 6th round. I was like, Jesus.
So there's a lot of good games though.
There's
Week
gonna-
one,
Yeah.
a lot of good matchups, a lot of division games.
Our division games, I think, are going to be solid because I think the Dolphins, no matter how much talent they have, I think the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins, I think they're going to be solid games. Obviously.
I mean, we got Pats Dolphins week one, Saints Falcons week one.
Oh man, Saints Falcons week one. That's gonna be the one to watch, man. That's gonna
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I don't care what you say. That's a rivalry right there.
It is a rivalry,
That
but
is
it's not going to
You
be.
also got Packers Vikings,
Another great rivalry. Wow.
Cardinals
Okay.
Chiefs,
Okay. Well, I think Chiefs are taking that.
Colts Texans. I think that would be pretty good.
I don't see any reason why.
And then Monday night we get Broncos at Seattle, Denver at Seattle.
Oh, okay. Well, that's going to be a game right there.
You know where I'll be.
It's
at 8
funny
o'clock.
because the Broncos were not good. Obviously not good. They had Drew Lock playing last year. So the fact that they got Russell Wilson playing now with the same, they also had I forgot his last name, but I think he's a defensive back for the Broncos, Curtin or something like that. Curtin the second that was out
sure.
for a long time. He was a solid defensive player that I think is coming back. I think that's gonna be a fun game to watch because we don't know who is Geno Smith starting for the Seahawks.
I don't know. I don't know who they named their starting quarterback.
They got the Seahawks. If I'm not mistaken, in the trade, the Seahawks got Drew Lock from the Broncos. So it might just be an okie doke of quarterbacks there where they're just kind of swapping at that point. But that's going to be a fun game to watch nonetheless, the fact that Russell Wilson's playing.
Drew Lock.
Yeah, he was for the Broncos before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that'll be a fun game to watch week one.
In Denver or in Seattle?
in Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch.
But
That's
also,
definitely-
the very first game of the season is going to be a really good game to watch on Thursday night.
Thursday night, what is it?
Bills Rams.
Oh, my goodness. That's the way they're starting off?
Yeah. First game in the season, Thursday
Man,
night.
What heat. I mean,
Yeah.
that might be the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then they're playing week one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will probably be the Super Bowl, I
yeah,
think.
it probably. Yeah, I think there's a heavy percentage chance that that's a Super Bowl.
I would like to see Cincinnati go back, though.
But do you know who the Rams lost? I think they lost OBJ. He hasn't re-signed with
He
anybody.
hasn't decided yet.
Well, he's off the team, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's re-signed with anybody, though. I think he's a free agent.
I thought he was going to go back. I mean,
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Yeah, why
if he was
wouldn't
going,
you?
he was going there to begin with for a Super Bowl ring. I don't see why he would
back to back.
leave. Yeah,
It's the best place to go.
And the Bills, I would love to see the Bills get their outside of the Jets in their division. I would love to see the Bills get their first championship too. That would be cool. Josh Allen deserves it. That dude is a workhorse.
I can't
all
believe they
around great
lost to
play.
the Chiefs last year.
Oh,
that was
that was a game. That was a game. Yeah, that was tough. But Tyreek Hill's gone. Didn't he drop like 2 passes though in the end? Didn't he like?
I don't.
I know
remember
it was a
fully.
tough catch, but it went between his hands and his helmet or something like that and bounced off.
It might have been.
I think that was a big controversial play and stuff like that too. So it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be a fun year of football. I think teams have gotten better, and I was surprised to see the Vikings too. The Vikings released their quarterback from last year's draft. Just dropped him. He was like a 3rd round pick. And just let him go. I was like, you didn't even give him time to develop.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
got to practice or learn or something. He's like, just dropped him after 1 year.
I will say though, this year in the past couple years, there hasn't really been like an absolute need for like a lot of teams have their quarterback.
Or what they think their quarterback will be.
Yeah.
I'm still undecided on the Jets right now.
I mean,
I don't know what Zach Wilson's going to turn
Listen,
into.
you were all in for Sam Darnold, and then
He's been all in for every quarterback the Jets have gotten
I
for
will
the
never
past
be
10
all
years.
in on the Jets. Okay.
He has
100%.
every-
I'll always be all in.
Every time they've gotten a new quarterback, Dan's been like, this is it. He's the guy. Franchise quarterback here.
Over the last 2 years, we've had the biggest change up. Coaching, GM, quarterback, wide receivers, defensive back, linebackers. We changed everything at this point. Yeah, I don't know.
who are the Jets?
I don't
Dan?
even know at this point. You know, it's just a...
Back when we had the game night a few weeks ago, Billy made a great comment about how making a decision at 8 years old can ruin the rest of your life.
You guys make a decision at 8 years old and they let it ruin the rest of their life.
Yeah, that was me. I was 8 years old. I said the Jets and the Mets. Those are my teams.
Yeah.
And here we are today.
I know you guys can't hear me on the mics, but
Yeah,
when
definitely.
I was in Jesse, where I think I was like 6, there was a magazine and it had the Lakers locker or the Bulls locker.
Mm.
And Mom was like, pick one. And luck would have it, I picked the Lakers. Thank God. Bulls were bad for
Yeah.
18 years.
And we have the locker to this day.
Yeah.
You still got
What
the
was
same
the number?
locker.
Number 5?
Number 5.
On the locker.
Yeah.
Corral on the back of the locker.
Yeah.
I remember
This
that.
is Billy on it. Billy right on the front.
Rick Fox? No, Robert Horry?
Robert
Yeah.
Horry was number 5. Yeah. That was it.
Thank God. And that's the origin story of
Here
why
we
I'm a
are.
Lakers fan. Because my older brother bought a locker out of a magazine. Yeah.
At least there's some sort of proof. I made the
Man,
unbiased
who-
decision to choose the Jets. So
I mean, what? It's like an alternate universe. What if you picked the Bulls locker?
I know.
Would we like Kobe Bryant?
you would like Michael Jordan
What-
a little bit better.
Well, we still like Michael Jordan, but yeah, man.
It started from just a magazine choice.
Wow.
Opens
Hmm.
the conversation for a larger question.
Yeah, it does. What is the meaning of life?
What does it mean?
Lakers. The meaning of life is
Matt-
if you pick the Lakers or the Bulls.
Magazines used to be so much more important back then.
The crossroads with this. If
Yeah.
If Ed Draka or Lou Draka didn't get dropped on the CBS in Albany, Georgia,
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't be in Georgia.
That's true.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely. If the first strike and never made the move.
Jesse and I were actually talking about this a few weeks ago about music, that if he had not decided to play drums, he never would have met Savannah. So
Oh, that's true. And you don't even like drums all that much. Well, you do, but
Yeah.
guitar's number one.
Yeah. Every time I get into that, it's hard to explain. But yeah, I love drums. Yeah. Yeah. I'm mixed between drums and guitar.
I feel like
But-
obviously you like just music in general.
Mhm.
But I feel like at the time when you started playing the drums, it was because that was the need at the time. No?
I mean, how it started was we got Rock Band World Tour, or Garage Guitar Hero World Tour for Christmas, and Billy took the guitar and said, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna play the drums. That's the first time I ever played drums. So I guess you can say out of necessity, yeah. But even when it came to real music, I don't know what it was. I guess I just gravitated towards the drums at first. But yeah, that's a big life choice. Like playing the drums. Who knows what would have happened? Yeah, that was like the first one we ever recorded. That got super deep when we started talking about that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows, man. I told him, and we talked about this also, I don't know if me and Ashton would ever even have become super close friends, because our relationship started with guitar and drums and music.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how was the foundation of that? Because I feel like Ashton and your entire family have been around ever since we really moved to Georgia, honestly. What was it that really pushed you and Jesse over the edge to get closer?
We didn't reconnect until after high school. We were, I would say, pretty close at Peoples, and then when we went to Creekside, kind of had different friend groups,
Mhm.
and I would say that Creekside we really didn't hang out, and then after graduation we didn't hang out until we started playing at Maverick's church.
Mm-hmm.
So Maverick actually brought us back together.
Yeah.
And did Maverick ever go to Creekside?
Mm-mm.
So that was a friendship you guys maintained from Peoples.
Yeah, him and Maverick were much closer. But him and Maverick kind of started to hang out towards the tail end of People's.
Interesting. Okay.
Never hang out. At least I didn't hang out with them outside of school maybe once, but I don't think I ever did.
We were 14. We didn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah, we
couldn't
never hung out outside of
drive,
school.
so,
Yeah.
kind of at the mercy of our parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I think that we had pinned that down. Maybe 2016 was when we started hanging back out.
Yeah,
again.
probably. Yeah.
I feel like in 2018 was when we really started regularly hanging out.
Yeah.
Y'all were all living together at that point. As much as I hate to say it, Overwatch was part of that.
Yeah, it was a big part of it. Yeah.
I just remember
We don't need to
Jesse-
get into that.
Jesse coming out of those Overwatch days that you guys had. I was like, how was it? He was like, not good. Just like, is it ever good? He was like, not really. I was like, why do you continue to
It's
do
true.
it?
right.
It's true.
It was just
It's
always
true.
a tough day whenever Overwatch was involved.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a reason to get him over for the entire day.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 hours we would
Yeah,
play
we
that
would
game.
no life it for 8 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
Stop to go get food, and
Yeah. While everyone else in the house was carrying on with their day. We'd be sitting in the middle of the living room with 2 TVs
Yeah.
playing.
yeah. No, it was great though because it ended up bringing me into the friend group here.
Mhm.
That's it's like who I spend the majority of my time with outside of,
Yeah.
outside of work. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's been great.
Yeah.
But no, would that have happened outside of music? I would say probably not.
I don't think so. Sadly.
Yeah, no, we had pinned this down a couple weeks ago. It was like
Yeah.
Jesse wouldn't have met his wife. The two of us wouldn't have reconnected. Just how things possibly could have been different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because you're right. Like the whole reason you met Savannah is because you were the drummer at the band.
Yeah.
You know,
Not even that I
just
was
think
working
if
there.
you never really dived into music or anything like that,
Yeah.
life would have been totally different. It's not even because
Yeah.
music was the thing that took you further, I guess. It was just the relationships you built out of it.
Mhm.
It's kind of crazy. Just
Yeah.
because of a small decision you made one day. One day you woke up and said, you know what, let me learn drums.
Yeah.
Seemed like such a minor decision. And then
Yeah.
it changed the course of your life over that one. Yeah, let me learn drums today. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and even the fact of like for like 5 straight summers, that's what I did was left Georgia, went to Florida, probably I think 4 summers, and like left all of you guys. I went to Florida for
I
2
wanted to
months
scissor kick you
straight.
right in the neck. I could tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for music. I wouldn't have gone just to work there.
Yeah.
I went because I played music.
Mhm.
So even all those relationships I built there wouldn't have existed without.
Do you
Music.
hold on to a lot of those relationships that you built there?
I mean, to this day, some of the campers still message me on Facebook and just check in with me and just be like, because when I was there, they saw me as a counselor and as like a older person, although I wasn't even that much older.
Like a leadership figure?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, and then shortly after camp, I had a lot of them that I kept in contact with, checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, because like there was a lot of kids that went there that gone through stuff I've never experienced.
Mm.
So yeah, I would talk to a lot of them about it, and to this day, I still have 3 or 4 that will still probably continuously message me, being like, and I'll just check in with them, say, hey, hi, how's this going? How you guys doing with this? And so yeah, there's still quite a bit of relationships that wouldn't exist.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of gave me a little bit of like, I don't know, made me feel like I was actually doing something with my life.
Mhm.
Being that person to some people.
Do you think, as far as being like a leader or someone
Mhm.
that looks up to and stuff like that, that's
Yeah.
what kind of made that difference for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I think influencing anybody, no matter what dynamic or part of the life that they're in, can always leave a residual effect
Mhm.
sometimes. It can be minor, it can be big, but the fact that you made a difference some way, somehow is...
Yeah. I mean, I like to
pretty
think
cool.
so. Yeah, I don't know if, I'm sure it wasn't just solely me, but they talked to a lot of people still. Like me and Adam still talk to specifically a couple people, a
Yeah.
couple kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fact that I can at least be a little part in that helped out.
and a lot of the kids that you were there with at the time, they weren't too far behind you as far as age.
Yeah, I think that helped.
Is it weird to see them grow up and get married or have kids? Or
yeah, I mean, a couple of them are married. None of them have kids yet, but
okay,
yeah, because they're kind of. Because I feel like I'm still their age too. I feel like I'm still like a kid, you know.
Jesse wouldn't have met Savannah without drums.
Exactly.
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 And TikTok never would have been discovered.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish.
He had to get that in there.
Yeah, I know. Good thing the mics can't be heard for all the way over there. But yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know. Music's a big part of our lives.
Hey, let's also not discount the fact that you also got Tim a girlfriend.
Yeah, I take 100% credit.
yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah.
He said you're welcome.
Yeah, that's part of it too, man.
Let's see. I'm kind of curious to see how that played out. I know there was weddings and hanging out involved, but Tim, when did you realize or want to make the effort to proceed a little bit further
Jesse's wedding.
past a friendship?
It was Jesse's wedding.
Was the wedding? I can't even remember 95% of that
I don't
day.
really remember it being.
A little before that.
I don't remember it being the wedding, but
It was here when we were at a party.
I was. Yeah, we started texting.
Remember that party?
We started texting in Christmas time.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 months before the wedding.
Yeah, 2
really.
months before the wedding. We
It was
didn't.
Tim's speech that did it in, really.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Yeah, it was.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that speech.
top notch.
Yeah.
The man's eloquence.
Well, after the wedding, we weren't even dating till March,
It took a little while.
but COVID is what solidified it because she stayed with me for like 3 or 4 months straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
But outside of, I guess, like the outside factors, what really internalized it for you that you're like, you know what, I'd really like to take it to the next step or progress to a further relationship? It's tough getting to know someone to that level sometimes, but
I don't know. It just felt right. We hung out, and I mean, we get along so well, and she has the same interests as me.
yeah.
I mean, she doesn't annoy me like a lot of people.
That's good.
So,
That's always
That's a good sign.
as long as you guys are both happy.
Yeah.
Biggest thing.
So that's kind of a branch off of that also. You probably wouldn't be dating Hannah.
Yeah, Tim, why would you be dating Savannah?
My second glass of rum.
it's only been 2, Jesse. Calm down.
Not even
Fine.
2. He's finishing up over there.
That's my second.
What is that right there that you're sipping?
This is refills of this. Sure. Well, like I need proof.
It's real.
Yeah, of course it is.
All right. Just had to double check.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, Jesse, thanks for
Yeah, you're welcome.
making me spend all my money on somebody else.
Yeah.
You don't need to put it that way. I'm sorry, man. Now I'm
just want to
sorry.
make you feel bad a little bit.
I know.
Of his value.
No. No, I'm sorry. Why,
man.
why do we start
I mean,
talking about that?
I mean, it all came from like how
Music.
Yeah. How you met Savannah. How
Is that what it
music
was?
was important to your life.
Right.
And how you met Savannah through that.
Right.
And then how Tim met Hannah through you and Savannah.
Right.
But no, it's very interesting because I don't think I've ever really learned. I mean, I knew about you and Savannah. It was very kind of, you talked about it, got advice, and when it was first happening and everything like that. But nothing we really got out of Tim. Next thing I knew, I was, I blinked and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm dating Hannah." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
well that's cool."
Yeah.
Cool to get your viewpoint. It was just kind of a
I probably
self-guided
wouldn't
relationship.
have dated her as quick if we didn't live together for the first like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of time to get to know somebody. You guys are kind of forced in that situation.
And
That not everyone has that.
surprisingly
ability to
enough,
do.
she actually still wanted to be with me after I was working 70 hours a week at Dollar General during the pandemic.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, I'm surprised she stuck around.
There
I
it
was
is,
never
man.
off.
Yeah, I know. You were working a lot during that time, man. It was crazy. Getting all that overtime. I
Getting
remember
all that money.
as much
And now it's
money as
just-
possible.
Those are the days, right?
Now it's just this.
No
Yeah.
matter how much money you earn, they suck it up. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, you got extra money? Maybe
Yeah.
we should do an extra special date this weekend. The
We should
$200
probably
you
be
just
careful
earned?
because you know Kristi's going to listen to this,
Oh,
Dan.
100%.
Yeah, I would be careful where
Yeah.
you're treading right now.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Chrissy's gonna listen to this.
I'm sure she will. She follows the
Oh, did she really?
Nowhere podcast on YouTube, so
Yes,
it shows
she
This
up.
is and
As soon as
make
it's
sure-
uploaded, she gets a
Make
notification.
sure in one of the points
Time
you
codes?
put Dan
Timestamp?
talks
Yeah,
about.
talks about Kristi.
Yeah.
If someone
do
can
that.
put in the comments, I'm gonna mark it right now at this time frame. If you can just timestamp it in the comments,
Mhm.
Kristi, I love you. And best lady on the entire
All
planet.
right.
All jokes.
No jokes.
All jokes.
Honest, that was honesty right there.
So, Jess, did you have a hypothetical question? Or were you just
Yeah, I
were
did.
you just bluffing?
No, I did.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. All right. I was thinking about this today. If you could choose one thing that exists right now, whether it's like a movie or a song or a team, what would you want credit for creating? You know what I mean? Whether it's like, Ellie, you're okay. That was Ellie. Whether it's, I wish I wrote this book. I wish I created this team. I wish I wrote this song. I wish I wrote this movie.
New
So,
York Jets. Just play.
Dan said the New York Jets.
Yeah, you did. That was quick.
So I guess this would probably change with time. With
no, I'm
everyone.
sure it would. Yeah.
I think I can rattle mine off right away.
Mm-hmm.
So T.S. Eliot's poem, The Four Quartets.
Mm-hmm. Can you quote it?
I can quote the first part of it and maybe 60% of the second part of it.
Can you give us a little taste?
Sure.
Yeah. Just the first part. Yeah.
If you could
I hate to put you on the spot here.
Let me
speak it in a soft voice so I can really get the full effect.
clear my throat.
Go ahead.
All right, so the first part of it is called Burnt Norton. Time present and time past are both perhaps present in time future, and time future contained in time past. If all time is eternally present, all time is unredeemable. What might have been is an abstraction, remaining a perpetual possibility, only in a world of speculation. What might have been and what has been point to one end, which is always present. Footfalls echo in the memory, down the passage which we did not take, towards the door we never opened, into the rose garden. My words echo thus in your mind. You want me to keep going?
Yeah. If you want to, I'm not going to stop you.
Don't stop now.
So what's your brief summary of that? Because what I took from it is that time is super important.
So, Eliot wrote that right before and during the Second World War, and it was a meditation on time. And he wrote it towards the end of his life. So, it's something that you. So there's a saying with Eliot that you don't read Eliot, you live with him, which means that you don't read it through once and understand exactly what he's talking about. You have to chew on it over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this, like use an iceberg where you see a little bit of it above the surface, and it's just,
Mm-hmm.
you can dig down so deep with it. So what I've been trying to do is memorize the 4 parts and do 1 part each year. So I learned the first part last year. I'm working on the second part this year. And so yeah, that's mine. Didn't mean to get that,
That
deep with
was-
you guys.
No, I like. Well, this was the point
I
of
have
the
to
question.
say, that
I really
was-
like it.
That was 100% it. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
First off, I understood maybe about 15 to 20% of it, but I've never I've never felt more emotionally attached to you.
So that's
right.
that,
That was deep, man.
that's one of
good.
that's one of the beauties of it is that you read it and it's like grabbing sand where so much of it falls out,
Mhm.
but you can tell that there's
Some there.
a lot there
Yeah.
to kind of gather and benefit from.
So have you ever read it? Something like that I feel like is very deep. So have you ever read it at different emotional states and have gotten different things from that kind of vocabulary?
Yeah, for sure. So the first time I heard it, I was actually listening to it was like a lecture on YouTube, and a guy quoted a portion of it, and he was connecting it with kind of the craziness socially of the time that we're living in, where it just seems like people are kind of losing their anchor to things, where I might have my perception of how the world is and my truths, and you might have yours, and they might be different, but
Yeah.
it's like it's okay if you have yours and I have mine. But there's downsides to that, where we can all become so fragmented that no one's looking at the world the same way.
Right.
So there's no
Right.
social cohesion. But that, and part of Eliot's truth in his poem is that there is wisdom in tradition and the past. And so there is, it's a useful endeavor to read and try to learn what men in the past have left for us, because there's eternal questions that people have always asked, and there's some questions that we can never fully answer, but that we can get close enough to it. So,
if you don't mind me asking too, so I know you said you've read that literature multiple times and you can kind of got different things out of it. What would be some of the things that you got when you were feeling low from that scripture versus what you felt when you were reading it when you were at like an emotional high or a happier place, I suppose?
So there's one passage that I really like in it, that sometimes you might feel pressure to not necessarily be the best at something, but feel like you don't quite measure up to people that you're around.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's got a passage in the second part of that poem, and he says, what there is to conquer by strength and submission has already been discovered once or twice or several times by men who we cannot hope to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no competition. There is only the fight to discover what has been lost and found and lost again and again. And under conditions that seem unpropitious, perhaps neither gain nor loss for us, there is only the trying.
Mm.
The rest is not our business. So there's questions that we won't be able to answer.
Yeah.
And there are people that have lived and people that are living that we can't even hope to emulate them, right?
Yeah.
We all have our shortcomings, but the tail end of that, for us, there's only the trying. The rest is not our business. So you make the best of what hand you've been dealt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Almost seems like a principle that can apply different ways in different situations, kind of up for you to interpret and kind of change to an applicable situation.
right.
So, wow, that's deep, man. That was good. That was great.
So yeah. That would be mine.
I like it. You guys got anything?
Oh, of course. I already knew right off the top of my
Oh,
head.
did you?
Yeah.
What?
If I could take credit for something,
Yeah, take credit for it.
I would love to take credit for Studio Ghibli.
Oh,
Okay.
good for you, man.
I am a big fan of all their hand-drawn animation, and if I could have taken credit for that or helped draw, it would have been cool. I could watch all those movies 1,000 times. So
Yeah.
that's mine.
That was easy.
Yep.
Jesse, go ahead.
I don't have anything.
I'm not gonna lie. That'd be
It's for you
something I have
guys.
to really think over. I would be torn between something that would just be cool and entertaining, or something that would just help people over time, like something that could be help people drive their passions, or just get people to think. I don't know. It's a big question that I don't have an answer for right off the top of my head.
Top of your head.
Oh,
I thought you would have said the Jets.
He did.
I already did, but that was like more of like a joking manner than
He
a
did.
serious question, you know?
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to come back to it and let you think, we can talk about House of Dragons.
Okay, I'm on board with that all day,
'Cause
every day.
I know, Ashton, you don't watch it.
We'll let Tim and Dan talk for a couple hours.
And I know Jesse doesn't even care about it. But I've been on board for the last 2 weeks, and it's been great.
Yeah.
I haven't had really any complaints about it.
No, I mean, the last, I remember me and Jesse were actually talking a little bit before him and Savannah watched the episode, and I was like, hey, man, just like be prepared for a lot of talking, a lot of dialect and different things like that. I don't know if that's the right word. Dialogue probably is the right word for it. But I was like, it's a lot of talking, conversations, and things you got to piece together. And he was like, oh, great. Like, that's not Jesse at all.
Jesse's favorite thing.
He does not want to see that. But I don't know. Throughout the entire episode, even the conversations kept me interested. And then just leading up to what it's leading into, that third episode, seems like it's jumping probably 1 or 2 years ahead.
Weird.
Yeah, it was weird how they did that. How they introduced it. They didn't
Yeah.
talk about it. They just like, oh.
Like, he has 2 kids already.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for the record. If you haven't seen these things yet, he has 2 kids in this episode. But yeah, like you said, it was.
It looks weird how far they're going to jump ahead.
Yeah, it does. So I wonder if that also leads me to believe, like, is the rest of the series that way?
Wait,
Like,
I hope not.
when did he have 2 kids?
exactly.
No, in
That's-
the trailer, in the episode
For the next
trailer,
one, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It
Both
shows-
kids are born.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
both kids
Okay.
are born, and it
With the redheaded girl?
Yeah.
You mean? The
His-
king and the redheaded
yeah.
girl?
His
wife.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm just glad he didn't marry the 12-year-old.
I mean, I don't think she's much different. She's still super young, too.
Plus, the redhead's probably only 2 or 3 years, but
Yeah. It was
they played different roles, and like you know both of their, obviously it's a different time frame, so it's not as weird as what back then, I guess, of what we think it is today. But the way their dads told them to, like, oh, go present yourselves, I'm like, that's weird in general nowadays. Like, that would
Yeah.
freak me out. And then if I was the father of one of those girls, I'd be like, oh, thank God you're not marrying. Like, but in that time frame, in that era and stuff like that, I guess that's just the way it was.
I hope this episode is not like just straight up into the future, because I was enjoying the pace it was going.
Yeah. Just
And-
kind of getting the idea of what it was.
Yeah, and I wanted to see what the brother was going to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was plotting something.
Unless there was just like a low for 2 or 3 years where nothing really happened, because we know what happened at the end of season or episode 2. But, I'm thinking maybe it was just a drag for 2 or 3 years till one of the children were born. And that's possibility. It was just like no storyline really in there. It was just everyone was just doing their own thing, not really doing too much until heirs were born.
Well, regardless, I think the show's been made pretty well, and
I think so.
I think it's
Yeah.
holding up pretty good so far. I hope they don't butcher it in some way.
I'm just wondering what the plan is as far as, is there 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons?
Well,
and
they
how
already
far do
they
go out?
officially announced season 2.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
And then how far do they go? Like, do they go up until the point of where Game of Thrones
I hope
kicked
so.
in?
I hope, like, right, 'cause
Daenerys is 14, 15 years old. And
It's 200 years before Game of Thrones, so
Yeah.
that'd be cool if they just did the whole 200 years into it.
the
and
fact
then-
that they just skipped 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like leads me to believe that that's what they might do.
I hope they can at least let it go for like 4 or 5 seasons, because I know it's really just based on House Targaryen, so
Yeah.
it's not really like about everybody. It's just really about them.
What I'm curious about, though, too, is why Jesse watched the full Game of Thrones series, right?
Yeah.
What has you so disinterested in this series versus the Game of Thrones series?
I was disinterested in Game of Thrones too.
Oh,
it was
okay.
just kind of I'll watch it if
Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
He really only made it through Game of Thrones because we were all living together.
yeah,
Okay.
100%.
I don't think he
I
would have
got you.
even made it through. Would you have made it through Sopranos? Would you have even started it?
Oh yeah,
You think so?
I would. I mean, it would have took me starting it, but when I started it, oh yeah, I would have finished it.
Yeah, I think.
Great ending.
Yeah, well,
I only started it because we were doing it together.
yeah.
Yeah.
It probably
So,
would have took you longer to watch it.
Yeah, I probably would have never started it even now, but I think if I ever did start it, I would have for sure finished it.
Is anyone going for the pops on those guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like them.
I'm gonna get them all.
I am.
There's
too.
only 6 of them. Yeah.
You know, the
The
pre-order.
Funko shop was probably gonna be hard to get.
That's the one's going to be hard to get. But you know, the pre-order on Amazon is already
yeah?
out. I already ordered it. Pre-ordered it.
Speaking of Amazon, has anybody started the Lord of the Rings show on Prime?
It just came out today,
2
didn't it?
episodes came out.
I still haven't
Yesterday.
seen Lord of the
Yesterday.
Rings,
No, I
period.
I don't think I'm gonna yet. I don't have any interest to.
I heard the pacing is slow.
Although I did see a photo of Sauron in front of his army, and that made me want to watch it.
Mm.
But for right now, I don't think I will.
I heard a lot of like, if you're just a general watcher,
Yeah.
it's a okay, like it's good. But if you're like an actual Lord of the Rings fan and you've like seen
You
it
know
all,
the stuff.
yeah, you're gonna be like,
Not too much into it.
no.
I'll
at
be
least not
more.
yet.
I'll be more into that than Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. Like I would prefer to watch Lord of the Rings over House of Dragons.
I don't know about that now.
I would. I'm just a bigger fan of Lord of the Rings
It's-
than Game
Yeah,
of
you
Thrones.
always have been.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's making me want to rewatch Game of Thrones though. The show.
Did you see they remastered it?
Yeah.
4K UHD and
Yeah.
everything. They went back and redid the whole thing.
I mean, Game of Thrones is a really solid show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It was never. I never thought it was bad. I just was never really like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch the next episode. So I didn't really care to see it. So I'm only really watching it every week because Savannah's super into it.
I'm super into it too.
I am too.
Yeah. I think it's going to
I don't watch it on Sunday nights though.
Kristi's all into it too because she was already like obsessed with the dragons and everything to begin with during the regular series. So the fact that there's a whole series based on that family.
I do like the way the
she's-
dragons look.
Yeah,
They
the
look
dragons
really
look
sick.
great, and you know, I think it's cool that they just kind of, when a Targaryen is born, they kind of place it with a dragon too, with an egg. I thought that was really cool too. I don't know, just the whole series. I'm excited for it. I don't know what's going to happen
Yeah,
with it.
I'm
But I'm
excited.
excited for it.
It looks like a lot of manipulation, a lot of
Yeah.
back and forth, a lot
Yep.
of betrayal.
A lot of exactly going behind somebody's back and
Yeah.
trying to take over and different things.
I
and
think this episode Sunday is gonna really like pick up.
I think it's going to pop off.
It's gonna go hard.
Yep. I think it's going to be
Especially
Damn
those.
good
What are
episode.
those? What was that place they were going where everything was getting eaten by?
the Beatles or the
Yeah.
Was it a beetle or
With
was
the-
it something else
it
they
was-
called it?
it
A
was
crab.
crabs.
They called it a crab.
Crabs.
The crab.
I think
or
they're gonna
something.
go into.
It was the
into that.
stone.
And that guy with like
The mask.
Yeah, the mask.
Oh my god, that looked
Stone
creepy. It looked good. It's gonna be something I get into. I can
Yeah.
tell you that. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those just how they feed off of other.
Stone
people.
barons or something. I don't know, stone something.
So
I
can't
don't remember what it was.
I'll watch it Monday,
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll try to watch it Sunday
and
if I'm not too tired. 10 o'clock is so late though. I really wish they'd bump it out at 9.
I think it is 9.
Yeah, they changed it. Okay.
But it is nice to look forward to like a TV show every week again.
They the first week was 10 o'clock though, but they dropped it at like 9:45 or something like that, or 9:50. So I'm hoping they can continue the trend of
Well, it
9
said
o'clock.
I got an email from HBO. It said 9.
Okay.
9. So you could probably.
Yeah, I'll do that.
It's usually
I'll
an
be
hour
excited.
long.
Jess, if you want to watch it with me, just
Mm.
right there, across the driveway or two.
Mm. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Ash,
No,
are you
but-
gonna be watching the Lord of the Rings show?
Hell no.
We're on the same page.
I really wish you would. The Game of Thrones, man. I think you would like it. I think it would be cool for you to get into it, but that's on your own time. It's a lot to watch now that it's however many seasons deep and prequels and stuff are starting to drop now. So, but I do think it's something you would enjoy.
I'm curious if y'all feel like you're in the same boat. I feel like I have so many shows and series that I'm either watching or need to watch
Yeah,
that when someone throws me a recommendation,
It
it's
just
like-
goes right out the other
it goes
end.
right.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like that all the time with Tim.
So
He makes fun of me
Yeah.
for almost every show I haven't watched, but
yeah. So what about the Lord of the Rings makes you not want to watch it?
the fact that, okay, so there's kind of a few layers to this. One is I've never read Tolkien's novels, and so I feel like I am not, I shouldn't watch any of that before reading the original. I don't know if that's weird, but
No, I don't think that's
so that's
Yeah,
one part
you-
of it. The
yeah.
second part is that do I trust Amazon to do a good job with Lord of the Rings, or do I think that they will use Lord of the Rings to smuggle in their social agenda at the expense of storytelling? Likely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's likely.
It is likely. I've heard.
So, and then also, I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I think that they're good. Is it one of my favorite franchises? No. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll be killer, and I'll have to watch it. But I'm not hopeful.
Well, the first 2 episodes came out yesterday, and
Did you watch them?
no, I've read reviews as I always do.
Yeah, you
It
shouldn't.
wasn't all that so far.
Yeah. Because there's Tolkien purists. I was actually reading one earlier today that don't like the Jackson films
Hey, come here.
because of the supposed liberties that Jackson took over the original source material. So there's even people that don't like what Peter Jackson did in the early 2000s that are really not happy about Amazon buying.
Yeah.
So
you know, I was gonna be a little bit disagree with you just a little bit on the social agenda part of Amazon until just a movie that I thought would be very simple that I just watched recently was Lightyear. And the new Disney movie Through Lightyear, they put in a lesbian couple, which honestly is not that big of a deal. It wasn't like forced into your face. It was just a family that was within the movie. But I do feel like that is a subtle way to push social agendas. You know, like I said, that to me, according to other issues that are happening, that's a very minor one versus some of the other stuff that's happening. But I think it's a very real possibility. I haven't watched the Lord of the Rings series, even the movies or anything like that. But up until I saw that, I was like, you know what? They put that in there with an intention or a purpose. That's not something you usually like. It's an animated movie. You have to go out of your way to put that in there.
Right.
You know, so I do think a lot of companies are going to start doing that. Just putting like, oh, this is the way we think, so we're going to slide it into our movies or our TV shows, and you know, and so yeah, I think that's definitely something that could happen. That up until 3-4 weeks ago, it's like, nah, I don't think they would necessarily do that on purpose, but it's definitely a thing, you know.
yeah,
But I've never really watched. I'm sad to say I've never really watched Lord of the Rings the first, second, Never watched the Hobbits, anything like that.
Dan owns all the Lord of the Rings movies, though.
I do have them all. They had a sale on Google Play for like $30 for all 4K versions of the movies. And I
Right.
never watched them.
Right. One of the Black Friday Best Buy deals was Lord of the Rings 4K, which I bought. I've never watched them, but I have them. I've seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I
Yeah.
haven't watched the 4K versions. I've watched the first Hobbit, but it never caught my attention enough to keep watching.
Yeah.
But I'm just so distrustful of the way that so many of the intellectual properties have been handled recently, where they use them as vehicles to push a certain or multiple social agendas, whatever you want to call it. I think that like the Star Wars movies, just it's too bad what they did to like Luke's character.
Yeah, it's too bad what they did to the trilogy
Right.
and the franchise.
With the name Star Wars, it's too
Yeah.
bad what they did.
Right. It's like the original trilogy is the one everyone agrees is good, and then the prequels are just memes, and then the most recent three are just bad, right?
Yeah. They're just
Um,
bad movies. Yeah.
But it's I don't really want to get into that. But to answer your question, will I watch Amazon's Lord of the Rings? Probably not.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
Dan?
guys, what
Would
do
you watch
think?
it?
Um,
Will you watch it?
I would watch the first 3 movies first before I even got into prequels or anything else like that.
So
just to see what
maybe-
the hype is about.
Maybe in another 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 10 as well.
Maybe 10, 15, 20, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be the equivalent to if someone was just getting into Star Wars. Would you watch them in chronological, or would you say, hey, start from episode 4, 5, and 6, and then go into it? You know. So I wouldn't want to watch it out of order because I would want to go into it with the same excitement that people that have previously watched it had the same excitement going into it. And that's why they got so into it.
Make sure you watch the extended versions, though.
Yeah, the 4 and 5 hour movies.
They're
Got
like
it.
3.5.
Let me put that on my bucket list.
They're like 3.5.
Okay.
Of Lord of the
Listen.
Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if my mother can watch all 3 extended versions
Did
in
she?
one day, yeah, her and my dad watched
In
it.
one
Was
day?
she not probably drinking?
No,
I don't know.
this was when I was younger.
And she watched all of them.
They love them. Yeah, my mom watches. She's probably seen them more times than I have.
She still wants to go to a Harry Potter world, though. Just throwing that out.
Let's
Well, there's no Lord of the Rings world.
I know. That's true.
Tim, kind of taking a detour here. Did your father know about the Dirty Pair Kickstarter?
No, he didn't know about that. I don't think so. I never talked to him about it, but I actually haven't mentioned. I didn't talk to him yesterday about it. I should have.
So when I get the Blu-ray, I feel like I need to take it over to your parents' house,
Yeah,
and you come over, and the
Yeah.
3 of us watch it.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I bet he would love that too.
in Blu-ray quality. Yeah,
How many is it? Is it multiple seasons or just one season?
there's a main season, and then there's a second season that's a spinoff,
Okay, but
which isn't as good.
Is it the same like voice actors and
Mm-hmm.
the same? Okay, it's just spinoff. I'd be down for that,
Okay.
and so would he.
What movie was that?
Anime from the 80s.
Okay.
It was one of my dad's favorite growing up, and Ashton is getting the Blu-rays.
I jumped in on a Kickstarter back in October, and then
Yeah.
Tim told me a couple weeks ago that his dad loved that show.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what are the odds?
Sometimes when I hear the stories of Uncle Ed, it blows my mind sometimes. Like
Yeah.
when he was living in Baltimore, he was going to a lot of these comic and anime shows in the 80s before it was way popular. He was like, oh, yeah, I actually had the original outlines of this character before it was even put into production and different things like that. I'm just, just cool to hear. He's like, I sold everything now, and if I had it now, it'd be worth so much money. He's just like,
yeah,
but the fact that he got into it so early and had some of these early
he had original
outlines and
Disney sells from like the actual movies, like The Lion King and what was it? The Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. That
The
was
Jungle
it.
Book,
He had-
yeah.
Yep.
He had
Baloo and all that.
original artwork from it. It was
Before the
pretty
movie
cool.
was made.
Yeah.
He had the people who went out there and did the drawings for the animation. He had that pre-work and like in a frame and stuff like that, you know. So it's just just to have the information knowledge that his dad has sometimes is just really cool to have. You know, it's just awesome.
I feel like original is the perfect word to describe your father.
Mm-hmm.
He had so much stuff.
He was in it right when all that animated or CGI and different things were just getting started. But in order to get CGI, you had to have those outlines first. So
That was like back at Christmas when you gave me those Lupin figures, and your dad was like, "Oh yeah, I remember playing the Lupin arcade game in the '80s." I'm like, "Do you want to talk about it, Ed? Because I'm here for it."
I know some of the things he says. What was I going to say? Oh, like when he met Eastman and Laird.
Yeah.
He met them, the original creators of TMNT, and got them. He would talk to them, get them to sign his comics, and
Yep.
it was just like crazy. Because back then, like it wasn't big. It was just nerdy.
yeah.
Now it's cool.
Now it's yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one of the first like comics or books or whatever
Yeah.
that took off.
So back then, if you were in it, you were
OG.
yeah.
That was the
you
original.
had all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
That was my something you want to take credit for. It was Ninja Turtles.
Was it?
Ninja Turtles. Okay.
It was, man.
Listen, that was one of the best creations of all time. Nobody who could
Yeah.
fault you there. That's
They were
that's
just on
awesome.
that comic show that I'm talking about. They had
Yeah.
Eastman on there, and he brought the first ever sketch of a Ninja Turtle, and it looked nothing like it, obviously. But seeing it, it was like history. He had it in like a case with like a combination lock on it and stuff.
Mm.
So that made me like that's freaking cool. So that would have been it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They wrote that comic as a joke. They didn't think it was going
Yeah.
to sell.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's nuts. I wonder if things like Transformers had a similar background to that, because obviously they came around the same time. But who would have ever thought that machines turning into trucks or helicopters or this or that is something that would have taken off, in that time era and
Yeah.
stuff like that, But
yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty cool to think about. So whenever we get to talk to his dad about that kind of stuff, it's just cool to hear the stories and soaking in, I guess.
Let's do that. Let's have a watch party.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What'd you
feel
say?
like Transformers was probably influenced by Japan through Gundam.
Yeah, Gundam, absolutely. I don't even know that much about Gundam, but I know, once again, through his dad, the figures that he gave us to build and stuff like that was like, it was almost the same thing, but it seems like a Japanese thing to come up with.
And the Japanese have a genre of show called Sentai, which is what Power Rangers took in the 90s, which Sentai means something like fighting warrior. But there would be the actual person that would have a suit or some kind of power, but then they would have a vehicle. And then the vehicles could all be combined into like a super... I think Power Rangers called them Megazords.
That's exactly
Dan
what
would
they're
know.
called.
Dan is a
that was
Power
all
Rangers
me.
OG.
Yep.
I was from the start the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That was me. There was Megazord. But yes, so in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they all had a robotic animal
Yep.
that would combine and turn into Megazord. And some of those collectibles from the early 90s have some money attached to them.
Yeah.
They are cool. But Megazord has always been the pinnacle of that, because that is the pterodactyl or the tiger or the dragon and different things like that were all combined into one Megazord. That was the big thing. So that's exactly, I didn't know about that other stuff before, but I know Power Rangers. That's for sure. I was there when episode 1 dropped. I was there. I remember they were practicing karate right in their high school gym and different things like that. I remember that.
Jason, Billy, and Kimberly.
Kimberly, Zach.
Zach, yep.
And then Trina was the yellow Power Ranger.
Yep.
All of them. In fact, I actually know a relative of the red Power Ranger from the original Power Rangers. She used to work with me a number of years ago. So,
and what was Jason the Red Ranger or the White Ranger?
Jason was red. Tommy
that's
was
right.
the White Ranger.
Yeah.
So he was also White and Green Ranger. He was
Right.
the dragon. So it went between the White Ranger and the Green Ranger.
He had the ponytail.
He had the ponytail. Yeah. And he's still, to this day, probably the most popular Power Ranger of them all. Still go around and do signings and different things. And he even competed in UFC fights, too.
Yeah. It's morphin' time, Jess.
It's morphin' time, baby.
Yeah, that's it. He's the guy in the
Let's
video
morphin'
every
time.
Sunday-
Let's
every
go.
Sunday. Yeah.
Would you go back and watch that show again?
The originals?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would be more nostalgic. I know it was corny and stuff at the time,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to lie. Well, TMNT, I think, made an appearance on the Power Rangers, too, at one point.
I think they did.
I'm pretty sure they did. But, yeah, when that episode when the Green Ranger turned evil for whatever reason, it was probably a couple episodes, not just one, but I remember when that happened, I was like, no way. And I was just like pulled into every single episode. I was jazzed up. I was like, is he going to go back to good or whatever? And then he turned into the White Ranger and all this other stuff. I was like, man, let's go. Tommy is like,
Right.
he was just the guy. But that Green Ranger was probably my favorite. He had that gold chest plate and everything too. And yeah, I don't know. Tommy was the guy though.
Yeah, he
on the team.
was.
Yeah, he was the guy. I remember even going to see the movies when they dropped. 1995 was when the first Power Rangers movie dropped. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was with all those little I don't know, the soldiers. I don't know what they were called again, but they were fighting over the U's and different things like that. But that first Power Rangers movie was awesome.
Was that the one with Ivan Ooze?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ivan Ooze was the guy who controlled the U's.
Yes.
And then there was that. And then Power Rangers Turbo was the second one. I remember the theme song. It was like, Power Rangers Turbo, go, go. I was like, oh, my God. I was like 9 years old. I was like, I'm ready to fight a truck. Like, you come at me. I got it. You know? But, yeah, man, those were some good, I don't know. Those were just classics that I got into really hard.
That, those seasons, and then Time Force.
Space Rangers.
Space Rangers. Power Rangers in Space. Yeah.
Yeah. Those were right where I started falling off. I started getting a little bit older and falling off that wagon a little bit. But the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Turbo, Space,
Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force. Those were
those were right
came
where
later.
those were right where I was falling off. But I remember like of them, but I never got into them. But yeah, those, especially those first movies, and then Power Rangers Turbo. They had the that's when they got the cars. I was jazzed up about those vehicles. Some of them had SUVs. Some of them had like race cars and stuff like that. I was like, yeah. And they brought in some of the older Power Rangers who were kept, prisoner and stuff like that, in like a submarine and stuff like that. It was, but either way, yeah, those are the classics.
Kimberly and
Kimberly
in the movie.
Yeah,
I think that was the first time that I had the realization that, ooh, this is. I don't like this girl just because she's cool,
That's when I realized I was straight,
right?
Yeah. After that, I saw the pink Power Ranger. I was like, no, I'll never waver off this. I was like locked in.
I've
Kimberly
never
was my
associated the
first
word
choice.
spicy with a girl before until now. Yeah.
Yeah, that pink Ranger was, awakened a whole different person in me.
That was actually a great movie. There was the roller skating scene in the beginning of it. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. I used to have the VHS of that. I think I might have the DVD somewhere. I would have to really dig into everything. But yeah, those first couple movies.
It's all coming
especially
back.
Turbo, yeah.
Lord Zed, Rita,
Bulk
and Skull.
Who is the little
Alpha.
Alpha.
Yep.
That was it. Yeah, you had Lord Zed and
Alpha 5, I think it was, wasn't it? Wasn't the guy's
You
name?
might have had a number.
Maybe
after it.
later. I think he was just called Alpha in Mighty Morphin. And then who was the head honcho? The guy that was the projection.
The head?
Hold on. I know this. Lord Zed was the evil guy.
Yep.
Zordon.
Zordon. Yep.
Yeah,
There you
Zordon.
go.
That was it. Zordon and Alpha. And then Jason, Kimberly, Trina, Zach, Billy. Actually, Jesse
The
did
Blue Ranger.
Yeah, he was a blue. Yeah, so Jesse did a pretty cool play on the Pops with Billy.
Uh-huh.
He bought the blue Power Ranger and then popped off the head of a Harry Potter character, and it was Harry Potter, and put his head on top of the Billy pop.
Okay.
And it looked just like the OG Billy, because he was, nerdy guy with the round glasses and everything. And that was when Jesse got through. He went through like a small spurt of like customizing Pops, like
Right.
making like it was pretty cool though. I remember when he did that, I was like, dude, that is spot on. Like, it was cool.
Yeah,
So
Look at you.
I know. Listen, venturing out a little bit. Yeah.
but yeah, Power Rangers was a good time for me. That was and I went from Power Rangers into do you remember, I don't know if you know this, but Beetleborgs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I went right into Power Rangers into Beetleborgs when I was a kid. So
And it never got as much love as Power Rangers, but yeah.
it was
was
definitely
very similar.
different. I think people were just trying to create spin-offs or some type of that, because Power Rangers had so much traction for 5 or 6 years that they wanted to make something similar to that,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Power Rangers to me can never be replicated. To come in, it was the first of its type, I suppose, and came in full force, and everybody liked it. It was just like, kids wanted to be them. Kids that were at that age wanted to be them as well. Kids that were younger wanted to grow up to be them, and it was just, I don't know. Power Rangers was just a
It's really
breed
cool
of its own.
because Japan had been doing that formula for 20 years.
Mhm.
There was a franchise from the 70s called Ultraman, and then there were several shows in the 70s that I still like watching. They were animated shows, but one's called Voltes V. What is the one that's... there was one that's actually got popular in the U.S. as well. But that team of 5, typically 3 guys and 2 girls, that were martial arts fighters, and then they had a robot that they would get into to fight the big monsters or whatever.
Do you remember the I know there was Lord Zed and Rita. What was the gargoyle looking guy's name? He had the gold suit.
Oh yeah.
He had wings and everything attached to him. Yeah, we got to look this up.
We're about to find out.
We got to look this one up now. But yeah, I forgot his name. It's bothering me. But
Jess, did any of y'all watch the TMNT animated series on Cartoon Network with Teen Titans? It would come on like the same time block, about 5 o'clock in the afternoons.
I don't think so.
And it was before Teen Titans became kind of the slapstick comedy. It was back when it was kind of more serious.
No, I don't think so. I never watched any of the Nickelodeon TMNT stuff.
my
Goldar.
Goldar. That was how could we forget that name? His suit was literally gold.
Mm-hmm.
My brother would be interesting to kind of talk to about the TMNT and G.I. Joe era of the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He was, looking back at it now, my brother had some of the coolest toys and different things from back then. Even when we went up there in Jersey, I don't know, I forgot, what was the name of the toys that you saw that Lana was playing with?
The Star Wars stuff?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called. Micro something.
Yeah, there was a set of toys from like the late 80s that my nephews were playing with. He was like, oh yeah, those were mine from like I was a kid. Micro something.
Micro something. Yeah,
I can't remember. But my brother had some great toys that unfortunately got lost in the multiple moves that we had to make when we were kids and stuff like that. But he had some of the original. I remember the Death Star Millennium Falcon toys from the 80s that they had that would open up and, characters can go in and out. He had some of the original TMNT stuff. G.I. Joe's was another big one for him. So he was TMNT, G.I. Joe's, Star Wars, and what else was it? G.I. Joe's, Transformers. All 4 of those were like his stuff. And he had probably all of the originals from the 80s when they were first dropping.
Wow.
You know? And so I wish we'd still have them. He probably had my toys were cool. They were Power Rangers and stuff like that. But in a relation to a, culture and value nowadays, my brother's stuff would have been untouched. Like he had some of the coolest stuff, it was just original stuff, but wish we never lost it. But my brother would be a good one to talk about those old toys too. And he was, he went to a trade show not too long ago, and he found some like older Transformer toys that were like 30-year anniversary stuff. He was like, "Oh yeah, me and my son bought this because this is what I remember playing with," and my son thought it was cool too. So he was like, if my son thought it was cool, then I just bought it. I bargained with him and got some new Transformer stuff. But it's like a 30th year anniversary edition with like a flip open box and characters on the inside that you can see.
Right.
And my nephew was like, "Oh, we can't open it. It's cool. It's limited and it's old stuff." And I was just like, "All right, man." So he was Landon was getting into it, but it was cool, man. It was just some of the old Transformers stuff from the 80s that my brother remembered from when he had them, And that 80s stuff was just top notch. It was just some of the coolest stuff, even over the 90s and everything. Power Rangers really came through in the 90s, but outside of that, nothing can touch that 80s collectible stuff.
Ashton, I didn't know you were such a fan of Power Rangers.
I mean, as a kid, yeah.
I never watched it growing up.
You never did?
Mm-mm.
Oh, old Bandai, man. I remember it would come Bandai. Like it would lead into commercials and TV shows. And yeah, but I mean, I knew it was Japanese, but at that age, I didn't care. I was just like, they had the little morphin things. I remember I had the one that, they would put it up and it would like open and close. And I remember having each gold coin. So you had the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the pterodactyl, and different things like that you would put in there no matter. So when you would press the button, the song would play and it would open and close and turn whatever Power Ranger you wanted into it. Yeah. Oh, man.
Man, when Jason took out his morpher, it said Tyrannosaurus, you're like...
Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I'm over there punching the TV like, "Let's go, baby." That's right. My dad's like, "Dad, if you punch the TV one more time, I'm going to spank you." I'm like, "Whatever, I'm a Power Ranger. It doesn't matter." Like, oh, man. I got so hyped up. They don't even know what to do.
It was so genius. In every episode, they would say it's morphin' time. And you were like, "Yes, here we go."
Yeah. I'm over there drop kicking my dad's lazy boy. He's like, "Don't you touch my chair." I was ready to go, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, good stuff. It's
Morphin's high, man. That was...
It's morphin' time.
Yeah, man. What a classic. Man. But yeah, seeing some of my brother's stuff, dude, when he had a lot of TMNT, and it would have been cool. It's something I know. Obviously, we're all kind of into now, especially these two. But yeah, that TMNT stuff is...
Which cool. I didn't realize about Jesse until...
couple of years,
really, until the game night that we had, where he was like, "Oh yeah, TMNT is one of my most favorite franchises of all time." So
yeah,
I always liked it, but I really never knew anything about it until watching that 5:00 Cartoon Network time, and it was always the show before Teen Titans. So I watched TMNT, but I was like, really can't wait till Teen Titans come on. But I always liked the guy that had the ski mask that he wore all the time.
Casey Jones.
Yeah.
There we go. What did y'all think about the live action that they did with... I'm going to be honest, I only remember Megan Fox being in it. But
that's the only reason I remember it too.
Did y'all ever watch that?
Mm-hmm.
Was it worth watching? Live actions tend to just be foul balls when it's based off of an animated series.
I'm a bad judgment because I'm not a good critic when it comes to if it's anything TMNT live action I'm a fan of. Same with I don't know. It's hard to explain. I liked it. No one else liked it.
What about you, Roger Ebert?
I've only seen them both once, but I would have never watched it again.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, we're complete opposite when it comes to stuff like that. He can be a critic.
I think Jesse just likes to be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's it.
In my opinion, any more of TMNT is a good thing. You know?
Yeah.
Anytime I can see more product of, same with anything.
I think that's why we had the disagreement about the Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever the most recent one was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you didn't like that,
Because
did
you were genuinely surprised that I thought that movie was not good.
Yes. Until you pointed out the stuff. I don't think like that when I'm watching something.
Right.
I liked it. It was Michael Bay Turtles, man. It was just all action, and they looked evil almost. It was cool.
I remember watching them, and I didn't think the movie was bad. I'm a little bit nostalgic to the originals. Like, I remember that's when, I wasn't around in the 80s when my brother was getting into them, but I remember the excitement. It was just one of those things, like my big brother's getting excited about it, and I was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old or whatever, and the new movies were dropping. So those originals, I was like, oh my goodness, like there's nothing better than this. I don't even care. It's better than Power Rangers and stuff like that, So those original 90s movies were like the pinnacle for me, especially the first and second one.
Yeah.
Those things were just
The first two were
the
good.
coolest. Yeah.
And then they try to milk it.
They tried to milk it for the third.
Yeah.
But at least they realized that, like, let's just stop it here.
Yeah.
They didn't push it past that. But I didn't think the Michael Bay variants were bad. Was it something that I would put over the original? But no, that might just be a personal thing for me because, like I said, my big brother was like, "Hey, you want to watch this Ninja Turtles with me?" And meanwhile, I'm over here playing with like Buzz Lightyear and Woody, and I was just like, "Yeah, I would love to watch something with my big brother because he's 5, 6 years older than me, and he never invites me to do stuff." And I remember seeing the first one for the first time. It was probably like, I don't know, the first one dropped in like 91 or 92, but it was a couple of years afterwards that I remember it. And I was just like, man, coolest movies ever, man. I love those original TMNTs.
Did you rent it from Blockbuster?
In New Jersey, we had a Hollywood Video.
Yeah.
So we did a mix of Blockbuster and Hollywood Video between the whatever movies came out at the time. But Hollywood Video was the closest for us.
Yeah.
We always went to. So, yeah.
Good old Blockbuster.
The good old Blockbuster, man. You can't go wrong with those movie rentals, man. Not at all. But yeah, we had a good, and those Hollywood Videos were cool, man. You would walk in, it was like a black marble floor, and they would have like special things in the marble,
right.
Like certain actors or actresses and stuff like that. You just felt like you were walking into a Hollywood like set.
Right.
It was really cool, man. I absolutely loved Hollywood Video.
Right.
But man, we would get those movies and we felt like we were rock stars rocking out on a Friday night. My dad's like, "Yeah, we spent $10." I'm like, "We got TMNT, baby, let's go." So yeah, it was a good time, man. I remember those video stores and those original TMNTs were just great, man. I love those things. They were awesome.
Yeah.
I remember the first time seeing Shredder. I was just like, man, that's not a guy I want to screw with, man. He was just big and stuff like that. And I don't know if you know this, but I think it was the original TMNT. Me and you might have had this conversation. The original TMNT movie, Kevin Nash was the guy who played Shredder.
The second one, I think.
Second one? They didn't show his face, but he was like the big like Shredder. He was like just large.
Right.
And it was Kevin Nash from like WCW and WWF who played the Shredder in that movie. I was just like, I would have never known, like, unless I did like research on it.
I don't know who that is.
So Kevin Nash, Big Diesel, NWO. Come on, man. No,
Big Diesel's more of a deep cut name than Steve Nash is. Going the wrong way.
If you don't know Kevin Nash, you don't know him.
You're like Wolfpack? Big Diesel?
Wolfpack, baby.
No.
Yeah, so do you know who Kevin Nash is?
It doesn't matter. He's just a wrestler.
My bad. That was my
That's
bad. I really felt like I thought everyone would know who they were, but yeah. All right, that was a little bit of throwback. That's my bad. But yeah.
He dropped it like it was Tom Hanks.
I know. I know.
So, all right. Well, back then, at least, Kevin Nash was a very popular wrestler. If you were into wrestling, I suppose. But he was a bigger wrestler than actor at the time. Well, maybe it was the other way around. He wasn't that popular yet, but he got famous in wrestling right after that. And yeah, either way, he was till this day. He's probably one of the most well known
So kind of like
all time.
Proto Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, he was just one of those large guys. So there's a very few, like, Andre the Giant and the Big Show that were like 7 feet tall. He was one of the original 7 feet tall wrestlers. So everyone, I don't want to say everyone, obviously, because you guys didn't know, but a lot of people knew who he was just due to his size. He was a 7 foot tall, long hair. One of the guys who would step in, he would just push down the top rope and throw his legs over rather than like climbing in between them and stuff. And you just knew, like, okay, this guy's big as crap because he was just like stepping over the top rope and stuff like that. So I didn't know till years. Like, I mean, it was probably like 2 years ago at the very most that I realized that he was the one playing Shredder. And I was like, whoa, like my childhood just went and just like, yeah, just like mashed. I was just like, oh my goodness, I did not know it was him. But yeah, TMNT, man.
Yeah, I like the cartoon a lot. The animated movie from 2011 or 2012 was really good too. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that one was good.
The new movies, it is what it is. I just wanted to see them once to see what it was, and I wasn't impressed. But I wish they would have kept going because maybe they would have got better. Because the second one ended as if they were gonna make a third one.
They ended it with Krang.
Yeah, and that would have actually been a cool story to go into space.
Ash, you need to watch them. Yeah. You're a team, and you're a fan of them. Not a fan, but like you know them. Yeah, you need to watch them at least once. I think they're cool.
Yeah, dude, I got like they're new.
Listen, we're at 3.5 hours.
Are we?
Are we going to land the plane?
Do you want to?
Jesse's been out of it for about 2 hours.
That's not true. It's up to you guys. I'm just saying it's almost 10 o'clock. I don't know if you guys got something going on.
Kristi's here? Oh.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I mean...
Okay, if no one else...
Jesse really wants to...
No, it's not that I want to. I'm saying we're pushing almost 4 hours in this.
Oh. Ash, what do you think?
I don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
All right. We'll land it.
Everyone's done?
No. Let's just call it then. Yeah.
All right.
What?
We might have just been babbling for the last hour anyway. I feel like once we go back and listen to it, maybe it'll sound like, oh man, we should have cut it. But
yeah, let's
I had a good time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I had a great time talking to you guys.
I would have came more prepared if I.
We'll do it next time.
If I knew there was not as many topics as I thought there was going to be.
It's a good thing we're not doing this professionally. We're just screwing around.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter if it sounds awful.
I think you guys are being a little harsh. I think it turned out good.
Yeah, it turned out fantastic.
All I know is I had a great time talking to you guys.
Yeah,
we loved it.
Fun.
We loved it.
Fun. Absolutely.
All right, guys. I guess we'll wrap it up.
All right, so fellas, let's identify something good that happened to us this week.
Yeah.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Go Dan.
I got to see my family in Jersey, which I don't get to see too often, and seeing my new nephews and stuff like that was a big deal to me. So that's mine.
Deep.
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of piggyback off that one because I was in Jersey too. Without getting too in depth about it, I was hanging by the when you guys went for that walk that night we got there.
Yeah, I was
sitting on the pier on Tom's River.
Yep.
And yeah, it was cool because it was like first time me like sitting down and like just staring out on the water and realizing like 20 years ago I was here growing up.
Yeah.
And it was cool just like thinking about it for a little bit.
That was a cool
moment.
That was a cool area, man. I wish I was able to sit with Jesse. I was walking with my brother and nephews and stuff like that at the time, but it was a really cool sight. He picked a perfect spot. It was a bench
it was nice.
overlooking the water, and it was just like you could just sit there, look, blank out, and probably just think to yourself, That was,
It was nice.
it was nice.
I liked it.
Really got a comment.
Ellie's ready to wrap up. You got something, Tim?
It's not as deep as yours, but yeah, something good happened this week. I didn't have to return those Jordan 1 lows.
Yeah, you did. Man, this man finessed his own parents.
Good things happened this
Listen,
week.
I'm not going to lie. I went
funny.
over with Tim's parents that one night. This man came in guns hot. He told me right before I got to his parents' house, he said, hey, don't bring those shoes. Don't let me look at them because I can't afford them right now. I was like, all right. I still brought them with me anyway. I got there. This man came in guns hot and said, hey, since you guys are both here, Dad, Mom, I know you don't know what to get me for Christmas, but you can buy me these shoes off of Daniel. And you can give it to me at Christmas. So this man came in within, I want to say, 5 to 10 minutes. He talked his parents into buying him the sneakers off of me so that way he could still keep them. Awesome. I was like, there's no way. He had this whole methodical plan planned out before he got to his parents' house.
I didn't look at them, so I
He
don't
did
know
not
what
look
they
at
look
him.
like.
But, man, I thought that was hilarious. So I was just like, he came in guns hot, ready to go.
Ashton, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, Ashton, let's go. I want to hear it.
Oh, good stuff. So Tanner came home last weekend and stayed for about 36 hours, something like that. So it's good to hang out with him for a little bit. So yeah, that would be mine.
Good to see you, brother.
Cool, man.
Hang out with family.
I can relate.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there then. Cool.
It's a great time being here tonight.
Yeah. Have fun, guys.
I had a great
It was
time.
fun.
Everybody feels like they wanted to be here.
Yeah.
Nowhere else.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be.
That's
I know where else
why
to
we
Not
named
even
it that.
asleep.
That's why we named it that way. Stop
Yeah.
looking at me the entire time you're saying that. I had a good time.
Very
Tim.
intense,
Just less
direct eye
quiet.
contact.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll wrap it up. Love you guys.
Love you guys, too. Peace.
Episode 2 is under the books.
Yeah, it is.
Done deal.
All right.